ATF Media, F Wood, what's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Uh-oh, my chat's goofy. Hang on. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Welcome to the stream. Good morning to Grace. Now, we've got 2 episodes today. We're going to go back. We missed December 12th, the Evansville playlist. Oh, I'm sorry. The Evansville the playlist did not have the Evansville thing on there. Did not have the 12/12/1987 show. So we're going to rewind a week. We've already seen 12/19, so we're going to go back to 12/12, and then we're going to go to the last show of the year. And then I've got a Jim Cornette clip about history of Evansville wrestling, if you guys want to listen to that, or if there's something else like old school wrestling related we can put on here that you guys can think of. I couldn't really find any. I think there was one other show we were missing from 1987, but I couldn't find it on YouTube. But anyway, that's my plan for today. We'll watch these 2 episodes, then we'll watch that Jim Cornette thing. If something comes up in the meantime, then I'm like open to that as well. But this is 12/12/1987. This is the one that we missed. I don't think this is actually from... this may not be the Evansville broadcast, so I'm sorry if that's true. It says it's got local promos, so we'll find out. Anyway, here we go. 12/12/1987, CWA Wrestling out of Memphis. Bill Dundee, Billy Travis, Jeff Jarrett versus Rock and Roll, RPMs, and Keith Roberts.
Well, that's a great way to start. I got my mic cable caught up on there.
Hello again, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown right along ringside. We're ready to go with another big day. Championship wrestling. Always exciting, David.
Well, I tell you, got T-Joe Khan coming in here
Oh, I
again.
forgot
We had the
T.Joe
opening
Khan's
match
around.
today. And Jimmy Jack Funk will be here a little bit
Oh,
later
no, I
on.
forgot
Bobby
Jimmy Jack
Jaggers.
Funk's
We got a
around.
6-man tag team match. Should be a good one. We'll have Bill Dundee, Jeff Jarrett, and Billy Travis in that one. It's not all. We got a tag team match coming up, too, in which the Region Bull, Manny Fernandez, and Hector Guerrero will be here. So it looks like a full day.
We have a full day indeed, Dave.
Okay, do you guys want... I'm going to look it up. I'm going to do a little research first, but do you want to see if at the end of a wrestling stream sometime, do you want to watch an episode of the new Evolve and just see what happens copyright-wise?
Even wrestling in the wrestling vein, but we
I'm
also
open to giving it a
have
try sometime.
a couple of announcements. One in particular that I'm not really sure how I view. I'm in some ways I'm very excited about it. In other ways I don't know. So anyhow, we've got that in front of us. I'm not going to give no hints. No hints.
All right.
Not going to give you any hints as to what it is.
I would love, by the way, side note, I would love to be able to go to those Evolve tapings. Like the vibe there, it's a really, really, really small crowd, but it's like a really cool environment to watch wrestling, I think, anyway.
But we'll take care of that and all of the other information that's coming up. We have some very special matches and some videotapes that I think you're going to be interested in. We've got some new videos which we haven't had for some time, and we have someone in the studio.
What is he doing here?
With
He's taking
with us
inventory
today.
or something. Yeah?
Why did all the VODs get deleted?
We got to get on with a television show. Can we help you there, partner?
D-Dog is emancipated. Yeah, right, dude. What is this? He's left and came back more times than anybody else.
The audience is right over here, not on this side. So.
I love studio wrestling.
Okay, we've got our first match. Will be T.Joe Khan and William the Freezer. Tom, is there something you need? We've got to get on with a TV show, so, well, I'll tell you what let's do. Let's take a break right here, and we will take care of the gentleman in just a moment.
55 subs. Well, good luck to him, man. Made sure you salted the earth.
In the ring here with our opening.
It's impossible, dude. You can't salt the earth with that guy in the Thorpes. There's just no way.
In just a moment.
He'll be back
we
eventually.
We had not met Mark Goulin. We've seen a couple of the interviews that he's sent in here, and I would just simply tell you this, Mr. Goulin, that we have a format on the show. You're scheduled for an interview now and not in the opening of the program.
I just want to say this, too, real quick. I'm not going to linger on it, but I thought the Kings episode last night was the best episode they've ever had of Kings by far. I thought it was the best episode. Grace got rid of the VOD, but I taped the whole thing off of Menar's channel, so unfortunately we have Menar twice on the screen in it. But what an episode, dude!
And so we'll get along a whole lot better if we can just have you follow the format and let us run the television show.
I appreciate
Thorpe
what
waiting
you're saying,
room, yeah.
and I realize that you and your partner are both very competent at what you do.
Thank you.
But something that you must understand is that I am here now, and things will be done differently in the future.
I'll believe that D-Dog is separating from the Thorpes when he gets his own, like, has an audience that's not just the Thorpe audience. You know what I mean?
Well, we've seen you.
He's got
with
to
T.
really
Joe
cut
Khan,
ties.
There's no question about it. He's quite a physical specimen. But we've had a lot of people around who've always told us about, you know.
This is Gouline, remember? He's got T. Joe Khan. I think he's got the Rockers now, maybe. I can't remember. Who came out of the water? Was that T. Joe Khan?
They're going to run the show, and they're going to do this and that. We've gotten along without it. Oh, yeah, here comes T. Joe.
We'll probably do a full review, Randy. And I think also Ava has the clip, or they were in Ava's Discord. I don't know if she posted them on her page or not, but really, really wild stuff.
On right now. This, in case you are not aware, is Mark Gouline, who handles the affairs of T. Joe Khan, and this is our first time to have him on Championship.
Something that you must understand is you are in the presence of greatness. You will be made to understand this in the future. T. Joe Khan is one of the finest wrestlers to
There was
set
T.
foot
Joe
in
in the
ring.
water. That was a cool scene.
This man is dangerous, and he works for me. Things will be done differently. I'm making a list. Things will change.
I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice.
I am Mark Gouline of the House of Gouline, and I am amassing the greatest assemblage of wrestlers that this area has ever seen. And don't you ever forget it.
Well, I will try not to forget it. We've also got to see performance is what we're looking for as to whether you can produce what you can say you can produce.
Watch him. Look at him. Have you ever seen anything like him? This man is totally dedicated to administering pain.
It may still be up on Menar's channel, too. I don't know for sure.
He's a physical specimen, all right. We've got a match scheduled for him right up in the ring right now. So if we could get on with that, we'll carry on about all of the other plans a little bit later on.
Bring on your
I don't have any issue with Shake. I don't understand the anti-Shake bias.
T. Joe Khan, Mark Gouline,
But I'm poor,
ready to
so
go
like
with our opening
I
bout
love
here
Shake.
right now.
Look at the freezer, man.
It's going to be one fall. 10-minute time limit. William the Freezer Thompson in the ring right now. He weighs in at 289 out of Arkansas. T. Joe Khan from Singapore. He weighs 242.
He is a physical.
Man, I like this match
We've
style
seen him here
here.
once before. And we're suitably impressed with...
Look at the power of this man.
Well, it takes a lot more than just physical. Ooh.
What's the difference between Shake and Grind Up? I think you'll have some people that will feel that like pure flour is going to have like, it's going to be a little bit stronger because it's going to have all of the like the Shake. You're like, it depends on how they do it, but like if they sift it out, if you know how they manage it. But I personally don't see much of a difference. But I know there are people who like swear that they don't get as high off a Shake, but I'm just always so high. I guess I can't really tell the difference.
Boy, he fired Thompson out on the floor.
Princess got suspended for what?
Right through the ropes.
We do not just intend to beat this man. We intend to make him suffer.
Well, there really is no point to that. It's a wrestling match, and if he gets the 1, 2, 3, then that's what the match is about. But we don't need any of this unnecessary.
That's how I
trying
feel
to
about it,
hurt
F. Wood.
somebody.
I can see if you want to make a case, that like there's a little bit of potency loss with like if the people when they grind it they sift off the keef or whatever, but that'd be about it, right? God
back
damn.
into a corner.
This shit is
T. Joe
fucking me up.
Khan. He goes after pressure points in the neck. That's one of his specialties here.
The Freezer Down on the knees, and T-Joe just drops that elbow. Looked like the point of the elbow, but the referee was closer to it than we were.
I like infused shake too.
Mark Guleen, the business manager, right? Guleen is the business manager of T-Joe Khan, is that correct?
I think he's his owner.
Yeah, okay.
If you listen to him.
I am his owner. He works solely for me. He does only what I tell him, when I tell him.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to pay less money for shake for sure. I mean, that's yeah. Like, you're going to have your premium buds, then you're going to have your, like, popcorn that's, like, a tier below in price, and then your shake's got to be, has to be lower.
William Thompson has not gotten off the blocks yet with T-Joe. Little reversal there.
I think so, and even if it isn't, it's like the people that say the Michigan weed is weak. It's like, who gives a shit though? Like, if it costs like a fraction of the price, you could just smoke like 10 times more. I guess if you don't want to smoke that much weed or whatever, but you know what I mean. Even if the shake is a little bit weaker, it doesn't really matter because the amount, the price that you're paying lets you more than smoke enough to compensate, you know.
Reeled in with that left hand.
What's up, Daninsky?
Took 2 minutes, 6 seconds.
I asked Grace if she was Joe Shabatoni, and she ignored me, Daninsky.
T-Joe Khan got the win.
In the
And
chat.
it
She
was
probably
all
just
T-Joe.
didn't see it.
No question about that. Okay, you can get him out of there. He won the match in 2:06, so you can just get him out of the ring.
The greatest T-Joe Khan! Yes!
I don't agree. I mean, it's expensive here, but it's mostly because of the taxes. We have a lot of like the dispensaries have to reinvest in the community, so like they have to give money to the schools and shit like that. So you pay more, but I mean, it's really not. Again, going from like what street prices were before legalization to now, it's legal weed is cheaper than street weed was. But like even street weed here is like, you know, the price is held pretty steady on street weed, but the legal weeds continued to come down. But yeah, it's always going to be more here because of the taxes for sure. Grace was milk cow. Didn't people think OPC was milk cow for a while too?
You will learn these lessons. You will learn.
Well, you will learn also
T.J. Khan,
that,
I don't know. We should
you
watch
may
that
be
sometime.
interrupted
Body
before
Slam.
you know it,
We should watch
when
Body
you get
Slam.
into
Wait, is that an
kind of
hour and a
carrying
half or
on
an
out
hour?
there. I guess 2:06 was the time on the
2:06,
thing.
exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
it was all T-Joe Khan as Mark Guleen, who made his first appearance here on Championship Wrestling.
I have something to say to you. All of you. I am here to assemble the finest.
Well, I'm not speaking for myself because I can't really judge. Aside from like how the high functions, like strength is hard for me to tell because I smoke like 10. I'm smoking 10 different strains at a time. But like if you go on Reddit or you go on social media, a lot of people dislike Michigan weed, and so but the argument that it's weaker than other places doesn't really matter to me either way because of the how low the price is. But that's like that's like the big argument people make about Michigan.
Group of wrestlers this world has ever known. And you, each one of you, is going to witness something here today. My man T-Joe Khan wrestled a very special pair of wrestlers. And I can't believe it, but they won. My man Khan, I cannot believe
You're
it.
talking about a match that took place
Yes.
in the past.
In the past, I was viewing the tapes.
Okay.
I saw it. I could not believe it when they told me. When they told me the Khan had lost, I said either these men were very underhanded or they were extremely talented. After viewing the tapes, I have decided the latter.
I'm more like interested in is that you're too awesome at everything. I think that phone call's coming from inside the house, ATF Media. I don't really care. Like a lot of people, especially Spicoli's really big on the THC percentage. Strength of the high doesn't really matter to me. It's like the way that it hits, because I always feel like even if it's a weaker strain of weed, if the high is interesting and the high is good, then you can just keep stacking.
These are very special wrestlers, and I intend to make them my own.
Well, I know the match you're talking about. You're obviously talking about
I mean, even your black market would improve greatly through legalization, even if you didn't want to support the corporate weed.
I have an offer that they will find it very difficult to refuse.
Well,
Extremely talented wrestlers.
I don't know what kind of an offer you're talking about. Where this is not Swap Shop here. We got a wrestling show.
Oh, remember, you guys too
At the price
younger
we're
remember
talking,
Swap
this most certainly
Shop?
is not Swap Shop. Gentlemen, you are a pair of the finest wrestlers I have seen in my entire experience. And I want both of you to know that I am prepared to offer you a cash bonus to sign with the House of Gouline. Now I'm talking cash in hand bonus just for your signatures to
Never
come
seen
work
Brook
with
Weed.
me under the rules of the House of Gouline.
The laws here on growing suck too, ATF Media. Like, we don't really have craft allowances. I think if you've got a med card, you can grow, I don't know, 4 or 5 plants, which you can kind of, tinker with that to get to increase your crop or whatever. But like, it's so restrictive here. Like, it's crazy.
And just how much cash are you talking about?
Hey, I don't verify this guy. I don't know anything about him. He just walked out. It's our first meeting with him.
The only
Marty.
verification I need is the cash. These gentlemen are interested. We're talking a $5,000 cash bonus for your signature.
$5,000.
You know, Lance, just last week we came out here, we said, in professional wrestling, nobody gives you anything, you have to work for it.
I can't tell you for sure, Jay Edison. I'm the only stuff I know about the guy is like the last couple episodes of Memphis Wrestling. I mean, he looks tall enough. He looks like obviously he's always in a suit, but it wouldn't surprise me if he had wrestled at some point. What's up, Ganglebesh?
Now this guy's offering us $5,000. That's a lot of money, but it ain't worth it.
Got some crazy killer.
Yeah, sometimes when it's...
I'm smoking Cross of Titans. I don't know if you guys have ever had it, but like, man, it's like one of my favorite strains. It's got me like
It's that simple
juiced
and
this
that
morning.
easy. It's not always that easy, and he's talking about $5,000.
Wait.
Marty's like, I don't know, Shawn. We need to stay as upstanding
What
members
price
of
is it going to
society,
take
man.
to
We can't
get
let
you?
the fans down,
I
brother.
will have you name your price. You say nothing is ever given. Nothing is ever free. Your signatures tonight, gentlemen, are going to mean a great deal of money. How
I know
much
he's
money
corny,
are
but
we
I think
talking
this
about?
He
guy's
said
great.
it wasn't worth it. I think that gets across the sentiment.
I believe that we have established that these gentlemen are interested in my offer. We're merely quibbling over cash.
Well, you know, like we said before, nobody's ever given us anything. We've always had to work for everything we've ever got. Now this guy's offering us some money. And I'll tell you what, we do have a price, I guess, and it's $15,000.
Ooh.
You're talking about $15,000 a piece. And what you're proposing that what? You take over their affairs? Is that what it is?
That is right. They will wrestle under the rules of the house.
It's impossible to keep. I mean, I don't even think you could keep up on everything just if you had like follow multiple people. It's like a nightmare trying to keep up with like 5 or 6 people who stream like daily for hours and hours.
House of Gouline, I will take care of all management affairs. You will answer only to me. Gentlemen, $7,500 apiece. Cash on the...
See, the prices, the ATF Media's area seems to have... I mean, the weed I've seen there is cheaper, but it's not like... I've never seen weed in Michigan as cheap as ATF Media is talking about, but it was pretty cheap.
line for your signatures.
You're not talking to...
I think the cheapest the weed I've ever gotten in Michigan was like $10 for an eighth. And you had to pick from like the store. They had like it limited like things for it.
Gentlemen, $10,000 apiece.
He doesn't have it yet. No.
Cash on the line, each.
Well, this is the 12th. I think we watched the 19th. He cuts a decent promo on the 19th.
You have to realize that you would never come into a neighborhood.
I don't usually buy ounces because I don't want to smoke the same strain past an eighth. I want to switch to something else.
I am prepared to pay you $10,000 apiece for your signature.
A quarter is about all I really ever want of one strain at a time. Unless it's Gorilla Glue or Bio-Jesus or Champion City Chocolate or Sugar Breath.
Jerry, can I say one word? If you guys would, Lance just said, me, Lance, you guys, we don't know this guy from Adam. He comes out here with his goofy accent. I don't know where he's from. And he's over here, you can hear the
Goofy
people saying,
accent.
you know, don't listen to this guy. I mean, he's a jerk. All managers are jerks. Do we know that or not, huh?
No, you understand.
Don't put your finger on me, pal.
You understand? I am not talking money for you. I've made no reference to you whatsoever. What are you doing out here? I'm talking business with these gentlemen.
What I'm doing out here is I'm trying to tell these guys that they're a successful tag team. They're already the Southern Tag Team Champions. What do they need a leech like you hanging on their back trying to siphon money from them? What that's
How dare you? You can't speak to me that way. These gentlemen are out here talking business
guy's
with
great.
me. They are talented men. They know they're talented.
You
Let them
can't
make up
tell
their own
me
mind.
that if I made a movie that had this guy as the villain and Gordon Ramsay as the action hero, that shit wouldn't be lit.
Easy.
Imagine
First
this
of
guy
all,
going up
King,
against Gordon.
He's talking dust and he's right. We've been handling things for years.
You don't
on
like
our
his
own.
gimmick?
We don't need you coming out here.
I don't
getting
even
in
know
our
what it
business
is.
either, okay? So why don't you let us handle our own business, all right?
Yes.
Lawler smelled some cash, Randy.
Back off, Jerry.
We're big boys now. We don't need any help from you, all right?
I need some more stuff for my coat
These
table.
men are not only talented wrestlers, but they're intelligent
I always
as
do his
well.
WWE squeaky voice.
Wait a minute, we haven't seen any cash yet.
Cash on the line right here.
I mean,
Week
it's
from
corny
today,
as fuck,
will
but I
have
mean,
the
I like
cash
it.
on the line to be
I would
presented
like
to
to
each of
interact
you
with him as a
when you
fan.
put your signatures on my contract.
What's the crowd?
Lance, for weeks, after week after week, we've given these people money, we've given them diamond rings, and to be perfectly honest, they haven't given us back anything in return. Listen, right, man, you bring the contracts, next week you
Whoa.
bring the money, and the Rockers will have their names on that contract.
Yeah, it seems to. That's for a living fact. We're going to take time. I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay, are we maybe back? Maybe. Might as well be streaming in India. Well, you know. You got to go to war with the army you have, get crack. Okay. All right, I think I went back a little bit. I think we were like here, maybe. Manny Fernandez interview.
Unification tournament. Jeff Jarrett, Mid-America, Jerry Lawler, the Southern Heavyweight, and you with the International title will be deciding who will be the new CWA World Heavyweight Champion. Jeff and Lawler go first, and the winner then faces you for that championship.
Well, you understand that a lot of people throughout the world.
Did he really report them for that? Well, D-Dog's channel is doomed. unless it's kayfabe. That's like he's cooked now.
Have become unified in one thing, a cause for a general purpose, and that cause is to claim one person on top of everything. You see, it happens in the boxing world, now it's happening in the wrestling world. The most awesome thing that's ever going to happen in Evansville is going to happen, and I promise you one thing. Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler, you're great athletes, but you're pitted against each other. One has to face the other, and then the other one's got to face me. Which one really, truly wants to come out of that battle and face the most awesome wrestler?
Well, I mean, that's going to come back on D-Dog for sure. Like, man.
Machine in the wrestling world today. I'll tell you what, none of you, because when you walk that aisle and you realize your faith, it's in the Raging Bull, the international heavyweight
Hey, Manny,
champion.
don't forget this. Whoever wins that CWA championship has to go back that night and face Kurt Hennig for the world title.
You know something? I've been there before, baby. I've been a world champion,
D-Dog's
and
gonna
I'll
have
be
to
a
run
world
like a
champion as long as I'm the
G-rated
Raging Bull,
stream.
Evansville, liven up because it's
Sorry.
coming live. It's full rock and roll. It's coming
D-Dog's
right
going to
at
have to do like a G-rated
Wednesday
stream.
night, it's all happening. Special prices be out at the Coliseum to
Some
see
of the shit
announcement at
streamers
the
act like
very beginning
McDonald's
of the
managers.
program. They had a special announcement today, and I said, Eddie, that I kind of viewed it with mixed reaction. One way.
I feel like they have, like Jay Edison, they have titles that just come in for like when they need a title, and then you never hear about it for like a long time, and then all of a sudden it's back. Like even really the Southern Heavyweight Championship on the show isn't really, you know, prominent or anything.
I'm very excited about it. And another way, you know, I guess maybe sometimes you hate to let go of the past, but you've had more
I bet
experience with the
OPC
past
was
than I
shitting his
do.
pants, man.
Well, Lance, you know, every time you turn on the TV and you see a wrestling program, you've got this champion,
man, all
that
that
champion, this
history
TV
gone.
champion, world TV champion, local TV champion, world
B-Dog
heavyweight
starting
champion.
off on a heel
Every
turn.
program has a half a dozen different champions. And everybody. Back, you know, when I was wrestling, if you remember back that far, in this area, we had one single title, Southern Heavyweight title, and every wrestler in the world
That's true.
wanted that title. We had one set of tag team titles.
Yep.
Every tag team in the world wanted those belts. They really meant something. Now this area, I guess you'd call it, you know, keeping up with times. We have international title, Mid-America title, and the Southern
Beach
title.
ball head
We're
Grace.
gonna combine
Doninsky.
those, and it'll
Put
be
some
one
respect
title,
on her name.
like the good old days, and it'll be the CWA Heavyweight title.
Okay, what you're saying is that you're gonna unify all of these titles into one title rather than having
That's
this
right.
champion, that champion,
That's
that
right.
champion, so on.
CWA Heavyweight.
80s wrestling was the best. I do
title.
really like it.
Now, we have Manny Fernandez with the belt. Jerry Lawler has the belt. Jeff Jarrett
So all these little, perfect timing, all these little ancillary belts and shit are all going to be brought together and unified.
has the belt. And in order to unify this title, I sat down. You've got to
For
have
sure,
matches,
Jay Edison, yeah.
And it was no way that I could
But it's kind of cool because it would lead to people having the titles that maybe, like, you know, you wouldn't expect.
sit down and put this man against this man, and I just couldn't come up with the matches. So the only thing I knew to do, I wrote the names of the three men, Jerry Lawler, Jeff Jarrett, and Manny Fernandez, down on a piece of paper.
So we got the three champions. Manny with the
Did you put your... Were you a gentleman about it, or did you pull a Craig? Let me put it that in a tasteful way.
National belt, Jeff with the Mid-America belt, and Jerry with the Southern Heavyweight belt. And they will be
Freedom of
involved
speech, absolutely.
in what is kind of a round-robin elimination type of a thing.
We'll put, Bob, if you'll bring me that hat,
Obviously,
we've got the three names
The
on
Mid-South
the piece of paper here.
Brass
We'll put 'em in
Knuckles
here, and
Texas
the
Deathmatch
first
Championship.
name drawn out be put on the contract. The second name drawn out will wrestle that first name.
Yeah.
The third man will have a bye. He will wrestle the winner of the first match. And
so
the
he's
winner-
got a little advantage in the
Right.
sense that
I think he's talking about like chat freedom of speech, that like D-Dog should just, you know, he shouldn't Karen whenever somebody hurts his feelings online. He shouldn't go and try to like cancel them. D-Dog's big into cancel culture. He's really
meets the winner of the-
leaned into
the
cancel
first two
culture
guys meet,
recently.
right?
And then the last match, the winner of the first match plus the guy with the bye, he will come out and be the CWA Heavyweight Champion.
Wow.
And like I say, there's no way
this
that I
is-
could...
Who would listen to OPC Don
online
get
and
cracked?
make it-
Monumental move
Trigger
here,
Man, maybe?
Ed. I really think it is, and I think you're absolutely right that the unification will put more emphasis
Well,
as
we
it should
think
be on the
we're
champion of
we
the
under the
area
Boyd
in here, and there
Constitution.
won't be the diversification about the different championship matches.
That's right.
Okay?
Draw a name out. This name will go on the contract first.
There's the first one, and that one will be
Meth
involved
head,
in the
wow.
first match, right?
Yes, sir. Jerry Lawler.
Jerry Lawler will be in the first match.
All right, here we go. Jerry
This
Lawler
man
versus...
drawn will wrestle Jerry Lawler.
Will
Yeah,
wrestle
beach ball
Jerry,
head, Bruise.
and then the winner will wrestle a third man.
Oh, decentralized. Yeah, there you go. He might have it. He wouldn't. I don't think he answers to OPC Don though. I really like Decentralized. I've always gotten along with him.
We know that Jarrett will wrestle Jerry Lawler, and the winner of that match will wrestle Manny Fernandez, and the winner of that match will be the CWA heavyweight champion.
Okay, Eddie, I think it's a very bold move, and we're going to be very interested in it. I'm boggled about that.
Quit
first
looking in the
match,
hat,
though,
asshole.
with Jeff and Jerry having to face each other in there. It's going to be a damn.
Eddie Marlin just can't be a down the middle.
Era is about to go. Is we'll have one champion with the CWA heavyweight champion, Eddie. Like the good old days. Okay, Eddie Marlin. We're ready for our next match, which is coming up on the card, and we'll ring the bell and get into that. I don't know, Davey. As I said, it's kind of a mixed thing in my mind.
Yeah, that's
wow.
The concept of the one.
He was telling the truth.
So that everybody
It was all set
knows
up.
what the goal is, and they're shooting for the goal, and you don't have a champion out at every corner. Ah, here he is. The happy Mexican of wrestling, Hector Guerrero. Oh, you saw him for last week.
He is. Eddie Marlin is a
request,
crook.
Manny, but in spite of that, you'll probably try to sing it again. Okay, Dave, let's go with our next match.
Viva Mexicano. Remember that great performance from Vinnie Sluggo?
201 pounds,
Amazing.
Vinnie Wilson. And going against him from Mexico City, Mexico, 245 pounds, Hector Guerrero. One fall, 10-minute time limit.
Get cracked. Do you... I feel like your vision of what OPC Don is like is so different than mine that you think he's actually thinking about any of this stuff. Like, I just don't picture OPC Don having any ideas or thoughts.
Referee is
Really.
Jerry Calhoun.
He always sounds like he's
Got to be
panicked.
A very heavy favorite
To
going
me.
against young Vinnie Wilson. Vinnie and his brother David. We've seen before on championship wrestling, but again, as happens many times, when you look at experience, boy, the list under Hector's name is just much, much longer than it is under Vinnie.
And you know, against everybody who is anybody in professional wrestling.
Like OPC Don, no, I mean, he's one of my favorite Thorpe characters, but the guy struggled to disassemble a bed. What's he gonna run a media empire?
Guerrero crotches him, drops him down over the knee for a backbreaker and a count of one.
He's a complete
Then he
goof,
makes the kick
in my
and gets
opinion.
the right shoulder up, which is sufficient. As he moves in, going for a suplex, he really snapped him.
Yeah, he did. He got a good suplex on him.
Referee Jerry Calhoun in this match.
That's the thing about being at the bottom of Boyd, Daninsky, that the algorithm has no power over me. Like, the algorithm wants to send me stuff. I don't care what it does with my stuff.
With Vinnie Wilson and Hector Guerrero, whip across the ring, double-handed him right at the chin, maybe right on the neck. This could be it. Yeah, that's it. And as we all thought from the beginning, Hector Guerrero from the Mexican Connection comes out. What was the time on that, David?
58 seconds, so less than a minute.
58 seconds, less than a minute. And
1, 2, 3, the same time it takes.
I just don't see OPC Don like watching 7 screens and he's like, okay, listen, can we start an archive on Grace? All right, D-Dog seems to be a little unstable today. Can we get somebody backing up Lolcow Rejects? All right, listen, the framers are outside. I'm gonna go help with that, but then I gotta go pretend like I'm fixing something in the RV for 45 minutes. Okay, and then I've got to make peace with Manar. Okay, bye. Like, I just don't see it.
For anybody to take care of all you Alamo people. 1, 2, 3.
Well, there's Hector. We'll take time out and be back in just a moment.
They cut us off for 9.5 minutes. But they couldn't keep us down.
Championship Wrestling brings to the Evansville Coliseum Wednesday night a great card of...
I picture OPC Don just standing on a patch of ice that he's fallen on, and then he's just perpetually trying to get back up to his feet. Like, that's how I picture OPC Don's brain, especially after the incident.
Special Christmas prizes, $5 and $3. The world heavyweight champion Curt Hennig will be there. A round-robin unification tournament with Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler going against each other in the opening bout, with a winner to go against the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez. That and much, much more coming up Wednesday.
I have some theories and also takes on some things that I'm gonna save for the eventual true crime documentary, however all this turns out. But I do have a lot of questions for OPC Don. I feel like that'd be another good interview, but there's no way he'd be honest.
Tonight, the Coliseum, 7 matches, special prices.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking
at
the
Mr.
heavyweight champion
Perfect
of the world, Curt Hennig. Now, I understand down here in Mid-South Wrestling, they're having a round-robin tournament involving Jeff Jarrett, Jerry Lawler,
He definitely
and
wasn't
Manny
Russian.
Fernandez. Well, let me tell you, plain and simple, when Curt Hennig's in town, something big is going to happen. And I don't care which one of them men win the round-robin tournament. I will guarantee you this, though.
Yeah, same here,
I'm
Jay
the
Edison.
greatest wrestler in the world, and I'm here to...
I had just seen clips here and there, and then we started, I think earlier in the year, we started watching 1986, and we watched all of that, and then now we're at the very end of 87.
Prove to everybody in the world that I am the greatest, and I'm going to remain the greatest a long time.
I've loved it. I think it's been an amazing 2-year run.
People say I'm crazy Bill coming up.
Jimmy Jack Funk.
There he is, very large. Hey, David.
Jimmy Jack Funk is in here right now. 1 fall, 10-minute time limit match. 221 pounds out of Memphis, Tennessee. Introducing Ken Raper.
Yeah, I remember that. That was never going to happen.
Texas, 263 pounds. Jimmy Jack Funk. 1 fall, 10-minute time limit. Referee Jerry Calhoun. Let's get that rope and cowbell out of there.
Boy, that's for a fact. He's got it around his neck, and the first thing, too bad Ken didn't get over there and grab a hold of it. Yeah, the big guy from Amarillo.
I mean, I don't know that I think that that's necessarily true, Randy, but there is something there, I think, because OPC Don, for whatever else he did try to heavily influence Thorpe content. Now, whether or not he was the one pushing the rudder toward LolCow Live, I don't know. But I think I remember him being against it, but I could be remembering wrong. But he definitely did try to, like, put his thumb on the scale as far as, like, what they did.
Guerrero gets the rope off, and
so he could have been the beginning of the Rube Goldberg machine
quite some time either.
that has resulted in
been out and about.
Blubber Lips Ben and Beach Ball Head Grace
Jimmy
being
Jack
in this
is one of
current
these,
crisis situation.
I guess for the want of a better description, sneaky big guys. This guy, when you look at him, at least when I look at him in the ring, he doesn't look that big. Boy, you get up beside him, and let me tell you, he is large.
He is large. He is solid. Like a block of granite. Ken Raper with a bar on the left arm. Raper fired into the rope. Ducks under. Oh. Jimmy Jack took him right into the ropes. Just let his momentum keep him going. That's a boot across the throat. Jimmy Jack Funk slides a boot off the top of the forehead of Ken Raper.
The bench review? Oh, I meant to message Grace. Yeah, I'm thinking it would be fun to have it on the 249th anniversary of our great nation.
Raper on the ropes, fired across the way. Upper arm clothesline.
Man, oh man.
Stop yelling at
swinging
people.
Too. He hit him like
Jimmy
he had
Jack.
a ball bat in his arm. Wacko.
Funk using that right arm again. Raper drops down there with an upper arm. Look at him come back with a right hand. Jimmy Jack Funk backed into a corner. Ken Raper. Got to whip him across
His name is Ken Raper. I remember him from last
out
time.
of there trying to grab Funk, but Funk just picks him up in the air.
Ooh, what a terrible suplex. Man, I didn't care for that weird suplex slam.
Minute 48 seconds the time on it.
I'm not a big Jimmy Jack Funk
Jimmy
fan.
Jack Funk out of Amarillo, Texas, takes the measure of Ken Raper. Again, the time, 1 minute.
hold on that, sissy, and I'm gonna win that ring of gold.
Oh, that's Jimmy Jack Funk. A minute
You
48
said a mouthful.
seconds the time on it. Lance?
I'm never really sure.
Oh, this
He's
is
talking
cool.
about both oars of the water, elevator to the top, and all of that. Jimmy Jack, but one thing, brother, when you climb in the ring with him, you had double ought better be ready to get it on, because this guy is big and mean and will do it all. We are going to follow up on the unification announcement by Eddie Marlin that there is
I like this. This is
one
cool.
champion. Let me get up here and welcome Jeff out here. Come on, brother. This is kind of a history-making thing. I've been here with
We've
the
borrowed
King
these
on
chairs
900
from a
different
local
occasions,
elementary
and
school.
I've never had one exactly like this. Can you guys, let's just sit down here and get homey. Jerry, you want to grab that mic, and if you don't mind, Jeff, just share this one with me. And I want to talk a little bit about this big announcement that that came out. Did it come as kind of a surprise, Jerry, when Eddie announced that this is what he's going to do?
Well, you know, Eddie called me earlier in the week, I guess, about Wednesday evening or something like that, and told me that this was his plans. And I guess, like you say, it was a sort of a surprise, but by the same token, it was something that I sort of agreed with also. I remember the days when the Southern Heavyweight Champion in this area, that was the title that everybody was shooting for. You know, every guy in the area
Nakatomi. My
wanted
wife
to be
works there.
the Southern Heavyweight Champion. And now, just
He's
like
right about that. That's true.
yeah, and just
We're
like
going
like
through
you
some
said
hard
also, you look
times,
at a lot of these
and
other
honestly, it's
organizations
kind of,
and you
heading
see
toward
90 different
divorce,
champions,
and I've recently
what happens,
flown
it's
up
like,
there
you know,
thinking
it
about
makes
talking
the
to
championship
her,
really
but
not
I
mean anything.
had a
I mean,
lot
you know,
of
if you
jet
don't win
lag,
one,
and
well, maybe I'll win another
this guy
one.
on the plane told me to make little
in this area
fists
also,
with
it's
my
sort of it's
toes,
gotten
so I've been doing
diluted.
that. But
There's,
you think I should
the
call a
Mid-America
limousine and
Heavyweight
head
Championship, the
down
Southern
there?
Heavyweight Championship, then the International Championship, who Manny Fernandez.
Let me interrupt you and say, I want to tell everybody, because this is not something. We invited Manny to come here and participate in this interview about this unification.
I don't know. I don't think we've ever seen him lose on TV. I mean, it's hard to say because we're only seeing the TV, but I feel like he's gotten a pretty nice smooth push here in Memphis.
A round robin that's coming up. And his exact response, I don't believe that I'll pass on to you, but needless to say, he chose not to be here with us.
Actually, he was going to sit in that chair, and Jeff and I were going to sit over here between us.
You're right.
You remain okay. Mid-America was the B
so
shows.
we've got it. It's cast, it's going, and the drawing. Absolutely, I drew one, Dave drew one, and the way it turned out, Jerry's name was drawn first, and Jeff, your name was second. So the luck of the draw, Jeff, puts you in there against the King in the first round.
Luck of the draw. I'm not sure if those are the right words to say, but I was back in the back, and I was waiting on the drawings, and as Lawler said, he found out about Wednesday night.
Jeff Jarrett looks
Thursday
like he
afternoon,
should be a woman running a recovery channel
boy, if I face
on
Manny
YouTube.
Fernandez, it'll be a tough fight, but I'll know more how to go into the match. Fight fire with fire, maybe. But against, I was thinking, boy, if I face Lawler, that's going to be an interesting match. And
Still be covering Miss Hayes. I just covered Miss Hayes
not too long ago. A lot of people come to surprise. I think everybody knows he's got the experience on me. He weighs more than I do, and
wow.
But I believe there's one advantage I got.
I did reach out to
Flex
to see if she wanted to do an interview.
Lot of matches. And I'm not saying that he can't wrestle, but there's one thing that's helped him win an awful lot of matches, and that's that big right fist. You know, a lot of people, a lot of guys say they got the hands of stone, or they got the biggest knockout punch. Well, I'm here to tell you, I've sat on the front row, and I've watched a lot of matches, and here lately I've been his partner. And the King's got one of the toughest punches I've ever.
I remember, asked Jackie Fargo, asked Bob Armstrong with those ribs.
I still can't believe that crazy
That's right.
TNA run
match,
by Eric
I don't
Watts.
think Jerry's going to use that fist. A lot of people say, well, I've seen the King when the strap comes down. A lot of heads go flying, but me and the King sort of come real close to him. He's helped me an awful lot.
Have over 1 million views on my channel. That could be true.
That's to my advantage. In this match, I think he's going to wrestle. No, don't get me wrong. I know he can wrestle, and I've seen him, but I think it's been a while, and I think I'm a little bit quicker than him and a little bit faster.
Thank you so much, Gobbledygook. I appreciate that. Let's get the gay ops going.
I'm going to give it everything I got, but I just don't think he'll use his big right hand, and I think that's his strongest point.
I think I see what you're saying, and in this, when you take away that big right hand,
See, that's what I mean. Like,
I won't say it. I was going to...
Since I'm, like, fairly new to Memphis still, like, I don't even think about that. Like, you just see a guy with a title, and then you don't think, like, oh, he's just got a title so that the people at the B show. I think we're still aiming for Friday, but I need to message Grace. I talked about it yesterday, and then mentally I thought that because I talked about it and everyone was saying that Joe Shabatoni was Grace, that I didn't need to message Grace, but I do need to message Grace and see if the 249th anniversary of our great nation's birth would be a good time to talk about the Ethiopian restaurant.
I'll say don't bet your life on it, but Jerry, I'll let you say what you got to say, partner.
Well, what, you know, in sitting here listening to Jeff, what it reminds me of, Lance, and I think that if you think back, probably a lot of people out here watching right now could think back of a young guy that came out, I think it was on another television station then, but he came out and he was doing an interview with you, and he was talking about that he had the biggest match of his career coming up against Jackie Fargo. And this young guy was sitting there, and he was telling you about how he had an advantage over Jackie Fargo because he was younger and because he was quicker and because you know, he thought that maybe Jackie might been a little bit over the hill. Do you remember that, Lance?
Yeah, I do. The guy's name escapes me right now, but
well, I'll tell you who it was.
And the guys in wrestling, honestly, that were like the shits. Do you think that part of that kind of played into just it being the territory era, in that, like, that's why Vern kept himself as besides like Ego, kept himself as the champion, or you put the belt on somebody in your family because you knew they weren't gonna, like, you know, double cross you or whatever? Or do you think that's like, do you think they kind of overinflate that?
It was me spouting off all those big words back then about the big match coming up. The first time that I was, you know, I felt like I was,
oh God,
yeah,
he was pretty bad.
Step up, you know, take that first big step up the ladder and facing a seasoned veteran.
I think Dustin Rhodes also, though that run, I really liked his run as Goldust, but I think I like him best as like I don't really know how to explain it. I liked him in WCW when he was just like the hick, just kind of like a redneck guy. But I like the Goldust run, mainly because of how ridiculous his matches with Ahmed Johnson were.
Like Jackie Fargo, which is, you know, sort of the same situation that Jeff is in right now. Even though he does have the Mid-America Championship, and even though he's faced a lot of guys that have been bigger and probably stronger, and maybe people would consider tougher than Jeff.
Jay.
I'm not taking anything like that away from him, because the fact that he has that championship.
Well, and then Jay Edison, they brought her out on the first episode of Evolve, of the new version of Evolve, and she was the GM there, and then did nothing at all for like, and then finally they're like, oh, this Spice Girls looking chick is the GM now, and then we haven't seen her since.
Makes him a worthy challenger, and so all I'm saying is that I remember when I said those words about Jackie Fargo, and I came out and I said, I feel real good about it, I feel real confident about it, but I'll tell you this, Lance, I didn't get one wink of sleep the night before that match. And I'll say this, I don't think this young man will get much sleep Sunday night either.
I will say, and this is not taking anybody's side in there, I'm glad to see Jeff with that kind of confidence, because, boy, if anybody knows, you know, you get in that ring, you don't have that confidence you can win, friend, you don't have a chance in there. So at least it's showing... that didn't...
Old school Shabatoni.
Lance, that didn't faze me too much.
Oh, I see, okay.
Lance, it's going to be a tough fight, and that's all I've got to say. But I'm looking forward to it, because if you don't look forward to your matches, it may be the biggest. I've had a couple of world title shots, but this shot right here...
Hey, Cody Turbo.
Boy, the night is going to be the biggest. Let me ask you guys about that. Whoever wins it has to go in there and face Manny Fernandez. And then the winner of that match will have a world title shot against Curt Hennig that very same night. So it could be, it could,
long night.
Yeah, it
this
could
interview
be a
should be an
long
hour
night.
longer.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, I'll tell you what we'll do.
I don't
Let's
even
take time
understand
out.
why
See
it
if we
was
can check on
necessary.
this in a minute.
I mean, I'm not against it, but I don't feel like I'm any better informed. Do you think it's because it's a babyface versus babyface, so they wanted to, like, you know, make it clear to the fans, like, hey, you don't need to choose a side here? Nate the Rat.
That's right, Nate the Rat. This match
I agree, Night Chicker.
10-minute time limit match. 182 pounds.
He said
out of
immediately
Arkansas,
no. Yeah.
Introducing David Wilson, and going against him at 275 pounds out of Dunlap, Kansas, Bobby Jaggers, the Hangman.
Oh my God!
In his corner.
Jaggers is gonna wear that ring Monday night.
My God, man! Oh yeah.
David Wilson pounded down and the Hangman.
Oh.
Boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's it. Total mismatch.
Yes.
We knew it going in. All due
Yes.
respect. I mean, you got to tell them like it is.
Oh my God.
That's the way it is. Hey, come on, Bobby. Good
Hell
night.
yeah.
You beat the kid in how long?
Look at Nate the Rat. He's so
21
excited.
seconds, and now he's standing. Hey, yeah, you pounded. Hey, come on, Bobby. Now just take it out.
If I was in the crowd, I'd be like, he's still moving.
Boy, I am telling you what. Hey, yeah.
This one's on the retro wrestling archive, which even if you're not super into Memphis, you should check it out. It's like a really cool, it's a really great page. Normally we watch on Trader Jack, but Trader Jack didn't have this episode from the Evansville feed.
Yeah, get him out of here, Jerry. We don't need him in here. The winner officially, the Hangman Bobby Jaggers, as he defeated David Wilson in snappy order, no question about it. Okay, we're going to...
But also, like, if you just type in CWA 1987, 1986, whatever, it'll bring up, you'll find 2 or 3 playlists with all the episodes, or what are the ones that are available.
We haven't had any new videos in quite some time. We got some we want the folks to take a look at right now.
Is he at the Big E? See, ATF Media, this is no different than IRL content. Same shit. Storytelling, drama, manufactured problems, flea market shopping. This is definitely getting copyright claim. I'll mute this. I don't give a shit. Oh no, the poster.
Wow. Now that's a poster.
To order your Jeff Jarrett poster, call 1-800-336-2600. That's 1-800-336-2600. Save COD charges by having your credit card ready.
I really liked Brian Christopher, but I always felt like his
to Jarrett poster.
Something just never really. I don't know if I don't think really think it was his size, but I thought he was a great heel, a fun heel. I'd really appreciate in-ring and promo-wise, there was that little window of time where it was like him, Taka Michinoku, El Pantera, and a couple other people were having, like, you know, kind of round-robin exchanges basically on the different shows. I thought some of those matches were really entertaining. I loved Taka. I thought he was great. Menard, definitely. Cody Turbo, you are eater of cow. You are pig worshiper. You are shit smear.
In just a moment. Remember, Wednesday night, special 7 big bout cards, special prices $5 and $3, and what a night it's going to be. We got right here the Midnight Rockers, as you can see. And guys, I got to tell you, I was a little surprised. I know a lot of people I've talked to. You'd even talk to Marty Lean. He's talking offering money, but I mean, hey, how about this guy?
You know, first of all, everybody's acting surprised. They're saying, why the sudden change? Is it over money? It's not a sudden change. You know, when the Midnight Rockers came in here, we told everybody we came to prove we're the best tag team in wrestling. But the people here
what has having a good spirit done for Marty Jannetty?
We've been friends for a long time. I think you're making a big mistake, man. A real big mistake.
You know something, Lance? It's funny to me. The Midnight Rockers taught these two guys everything they know about wrestling and about having good times. And people like these guys and Lawler and Dundee, they're all coming to the Rockers and saying, why? 3 years of good friendship.
I'd like to, I want to call in sometime when the Thorpes are on and just come in and cut them an R promo and then leave.
Money, friendship. It's not about money. Let me tell you something, guys. You two big guys, you're coming out here like a couple of blubbering idiots. You bring a tear to a glass eye. I tell you what, sympathies really kill me. But I'll tell you what, you try paying your house and your car with friendship, guys. That don't cut it.
You're even saying that. I don't.
That money will be gone, Night Sugar. But this friendship, that could last forever.
Stay friends, that's fine. But don't come out and tell us how to run our business, okay? We took care of you when nobody cared about you fat slobs. Now give us a little respect. Huh?
That's right.
Fat slobs.
That's right. When you were nothing.
Fat slobs.
Somewhere.
What happened to 3 years?
Friends are fine. If you want
Wednesday night, they'll be in a bout.
Don't run our...
6-man tag team action coming up here. Rock and roll RPM. Part of one of the team. Big part of
Man, the Nat. Oh, yes. Woo! Main event time. Hey, Kenny Omega on the team. All right.
Robertson. That's 3 of them on the other side of the ring. We got the superstar. We got Billy Travis. We got Jeff Jarrett coming out here.
They didn't even give him a proper thing.
Here they come, greeting the fans on the way to the ring.
Hey, Milkow.
Will go to the expiration of time. Total weight on the...
They never give them, like, a proper introduction.
RPMs and Keith Roberson's side, 697 pounds. Across the ring, 652 the total weight. And we are just about set to get it underway. Referee Jerry Calhoun out there in between all 6 of them right now.
Boy, really got a shake and bake team over there with Jarrett, Travis, and Dundee. And a good rugged team with the RPMs and big Keith Robertson. And bell time. Here we go.
Look at some fast action as this one gets
Stone
going.
Cold Steve Austin.
Tommy Lane against Billy Dundee, the superstar. Took Tommy Lane quickly down to the mat, but Lane...
Look at this outfit on Bill Dundee, man.
Down on that mat for more
Looking like a 90s luchador.
Dundee
Yes.
Tommy Lane hits the mat again, but again quickly back on his feet. And Dundee with a good drop kick. Mike Davis comes wandering in there. No
there we go.
Made. Dundee drop kicked him, and here you see Billy, the little Australian.
The little Australian.
214 pounds worth, doing battle now against Mike Davis after the tag.
Winds the arm up, and Billy Travis takes over. Ripped him on, then grabbed the arm.
Davis grabbing the bottom rope. Good move. Upsets fans when you see it, but the way to get a hold broken very quickly without much damage to yourself, and that's what he did. Billy Travis makes the tag, and here comes...
Man, the rock and roll RPMs are so awesome.
Yeah, Billy double up on the exchange.
That's what the butt wiggle made in the Rat King.
Referee steps in between them now. Jeff with a right fist double. Mike Davis saying, hey, referee, wait a minute. Get that hand open.
Dingo ate Jamie Dundee.
Back in the corner, Jeff Jarrett being held by Tommy Lane from outside. Mike Davis has made the tag on Keith Robertson.
5'7", 214.
Robertson, as far as
Don't you think he looks like a 90s luchador, the guys they brought into like WCW? I was thinking like the El Dandy body type.
Guy. He's one of those guys that's just solid right from top to bottom. Big
the yellow and black pinstripes looks awful. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Those one people have to be a tribute to him, right? I watched a little bit of Collision last night. I was thinking about maybe reviewing some of the AEW shows, but the Outrunners have to be like a direct tribute to the RPMs, I would think.
Dundee with a slam. Boy, you talk about misdirection. Dundee was yelling timeout. There's no such thing in a wrestling match. And when Robertson slowed down, he nailed it.
Unloaded on him. Bam! Look at Travis. Gets a 1. Keith. Shaking it off. He's got himself some problems in there because they got him trapped. Jarrett, Travis, and Dundee. These guys working well together in a 6-man. There's a tag on Billy.
Remember the Beach Twins?
Getting a little shot of this one, a little shot of that one, and they just keep it going.
The original rock and roll tag team.
A long way from their part.
Oh man, look at that punch.
Drilling him. Down the center of the ring. Time running down on this.
Keith Robertson is only getting booked because he has those leg warmers on.
Too tough to hold him out. Dundee on him.
Now hold on, who's the legal man here, ref?
Dundee back on him. Billy's not legally in there, as a matter of fact, but the referee.
Can you imagine Cornette if he saw this in AEW? He would shit himself.
Dundee, boy, he made every effort at the 3 count there, and he just couldn't hold the shoulders down for a 3 count. That, in a way, is a tribute to the size of Keith Robertson. Enough strength in the upper body to keep breaking the cover. There he does it again against Jeff Jarrett. Jeff takes it down hard. Bars the left arm. Robertson back up on his feet. Jeff doesn't let go. Puts a twist on the arm. Now tags Billy Travis. Billy wraps that arm up a little bit more. Woo.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason is because he's vaguely Bruiser Brody-esque.
Yeah, I heard Mike Davis yelling, bring him back here.
He's booked constantly, though. He had a neat gimmick for a while where he would turn on his partner no matter who it was, but that kind of went away after 2 weeks, I think.
We had all 6 of them. Now it's down to 5 as Tommy Lane is out on.
You want to learn how to be a wrestler?
Mike Davis double backdrop by Dundee and Jarrett.
I mean, why not, man?
Travis, now joined by Dundee, a double backdrop on Robertson, and out goes the RPM.
Yeah, they've left.
Keith is in there by himself with no partners. He got up to go tag anybody. He wouldn't have anybody to tag. That's it.
4 minutes, 52 seconds the time.
Timeout while we check the clock, and we'll be back in a moment. Depending on which side you were on as to whether it was good or not.
It was good unless you were Keith Robertson, and apparently the Rock and Roll RPMs who walked out of here and left Robertson alone.
Yes, they did.
Man, my mind went completely blank
because it
for
looked like
about
they
30
pretty well had
seconds.
Robertson beat anyway, and they did get
feel like I just lost
so Dundee,
30
Jeff
seconds.
Jarrett, and Billy Travis.
Is that what
get the victory in the
OPC's
expiration
entire
of time
life
match.
is
Other
like
winners
now?
today, T-Joe Khan.
He's always just kind of like,
T-Joe Khan with
what
Mark
happened?
Gulin there and wandering around and all that, but Khan is impressive. He won his match. It was Hector Guerrero winning his match, Jimmy Jack Funk, and Bobby Jaggers, both winners in separate single matches today. And then, of course, the expiration of time 6-man match we were just talking about. All in
What a
all,
performance,
we had
though,
lots
ATF
and lots
media.
of action today again.
Boy, we really did that, in fact, and I tell you, we had a
Gordon
big announcement
Ramsay
to make
in
that
Die
was
Hard
made
would be
today
great.
by Dave Marlin about the unification of the titles in there. So that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on, and we'll do that, but not right now. We'll see you next week. More time. Hello again, everybody.
Okay, so we watched December 19th last time, so now we're going from the 12th, skipping the 19th, and going to the 26th, which is the last show of the year. EFD and Lance Russell on commentary.
Lance Russell sitting in today. Randy Hales for the vacationing Dave Brown. Randy, it's good to have you right here today, partner. We get to work Coliseum matches and that sort of thing, but very seldom ever have we done
Dave's
it
on Christmas break.
Appreciate you having me, Lance. We have a super show today.
Yes, sir. We got some doggone good names in here. Of course, you'll be looking at some outstanding matches. Jimmy Jack Funk is going to be here today. We've got an interesting one coming up a little later on. Jeff Jarrett and Hector Guerrero will be in that.
Main event anywhere in the country.
You better believe it. Bruise Brothers will be here. The big tall guys, Ron and Don. The sponsorship
really
of Sawyer Brown, yeah, they're coming along very, very well. Be interested in seeing them. Lots of other action coming up today. We have some interesting tapes that I think you're going to be interested in seeing, too. Tell you what, after all that interesting conversation,
why don't they clean that?
We'll be back with our opening bout coming up.
That's so gross. It's been there for like a month now. Remember, are you talking about Vigo the Carpathian? I just saw him in a movie the other day.
The opening one, Randy and I were talking about the opening there we've got coming in today, and boy, we're delighted to have him here.
But
one of the big giants of the wrestling business. Scott Hall from Orlando, Florida will be right here with us on Championship Wrestling. Looking forward to seeing Scott in action. Well, I probably ought to have my head forward for the simple for saying...
Oh, here we go.
Santa Claus is coming to town. Hey, all you gringos out there, remember Santa Claus is coming to town, you know. And in Mexico, we got a little bit more natural pride than you all. You know, you all copy our song.
Oh, is that
Yeah, let me give you a little, I ain't the greatest music writer or singer in the world, but at least I can sing it the right way, you know. You all copy all our songs. You all copy all our songs, and this is the way it goes. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad, prospero año y felicidad. You see, songs like that is all you all copy. All you people out there, Hank Williams, all you other people that copy our songs, stop copying our songs. Like I said before,
Hector Guerrero with cultural appropriation in 1987.
Hands taken off with the hats. That's right. One more thing.
I thought you were coming out here with a Christmas greeting. That's the reason I said, yeah, come on.
Yeah, did you hear my song? Santa Claus is coming to town. Did you hear that?
Oh, well, I didn't understand exactly that was your...
Wait a minute. Really, that song was from one of our greatest composers, Dr. Emilio Charles Quintero. He is the best man that ever wrote any songs, and all you people keep copying our songs. Let me tell you one thing about all you gringos, and you still my favorite chicken skin. You know that? I love you, Lance. Well, baby, you know, baby. Let me tell you people one thing. In my country, one thing is more important than anything else, and that is the real true meaning of Christmas.
He made the, remember when he made the rednecks eat the jalapeno
peppers? I
peppers?
want to tell you, all you little children out there ain't no Santa Claus. There ain't no Santa.
No, I'm saying like he's accusing them of that.
If you look at me like that, Randy Hale, because you're not getting your presents tomorrow either, or you ain't gonna get your presents either, Jerry Lawler, or Jeff Jarrett, or anybody else. If you keep,
I guess it's kind of interesting because if you think about it, up until just the last couple shows, he's always done something to share his culture with the crowd, which has always upset them, which upsets him. But like he tried to just get him to eat the nachos and the jalapeno, but then when they turned on him, that's when he threw it in the guy's face. But up until now, he's wanted to share his culture, and now he's like, that's it, you know. We're not casting pearls before swine anymore.
coming out here and imitating the wrong people with the wrong food and the wrong situation. I'm getting tired of this situation coming around. Shut up!
You have a different way of celebrating Christmas in Mexico or what? What are you out here knocking our Christmas for?
Let me tell you something. We know how to
he's
celebrate
gonna decorate
Christmas
a cactus.
the true in the real way. You'll find out.
Okay, Hector Guerrero. Oh, boy. I'm telling you, that guy, I never learned my lesson with him. Okay. Let's get a little action going in here. We've got a dandy coming up here. Is coming in right now. T.J.
Khan.
How about the official introduction?
It's a one fall, 15-minute time limit match.
Didn't we see these guys wrestle 2 weeks ago?
273 pounds. The freezer, William Thompson. Don't have time for the announcements.
He threw those jalapenos and nachos right in Bill Dundee's face.
Is wild and crazy.
And then Manny Fernandez fell
I
down.
don't think he was waiting for any introductions. Boy, he hit the ring and just immediately...
George, you think this guy's... Had his axe stolen by George
Backs
Lopez.
him up into the ropes, whips him across the ring. Oh, rattled him. This guy.
Oh wait, no. Did he wrestle the?
Say right off the bat when you look at him, you notice
The real small guy, maybe.
He is. He, in fact, has got himself a body and is very strong, very rugged, and a little touched up head. I want to say this guy.
Yeah, you just take what works with you to the next territory.
He uses physical force strictly. T-Joe in there with William the Freezer Thompson.
Oh God, I haven't seen Tojo in like, oh my God, months probably, worth of their
never got off and
time.
started at all. He was down from before the warning bell because T-Joe Khan went flying across the ring. Before the introductions were finished, the bell rang or anything, and just jumped on Freezer. Kicks him out of there.
We noticed, Lance, that T-Joe Khan's manager, Mark Guleen, is not here today.
Yeah, where's Mark Guleen?
Okay with me.
Okay with me, too.
Ow, absolutely, Daninsky.
Guleen got his nose into it.
Gotta be. Oh,
man,
wow.
Leaps off that second rope with a flying clothesline. Nails the Freezer, knocks him straight down.
I mean, it's, yeah, for sure.
Straight back up with a jab, and the referee gets on him.
I kind of thought at first maybe it was just going to be something for a little while, but he's been getting consistently booked for at least a year or so.
That's really no surprise when this is T-Joe Khan, vicious, and it's not over yet. He's won the match, but he's still
Oh my God.
Thompson out of the ring, and looks like he's going out after him.
Yeah, hitting the floor.
Wow.
Watch out.
It just
Come on, ref.
continues, and problem with a guy like that is you have no idea what in the world he's going to do.
EFD looking like a stereo salesman.
Thompson's head down on the desk, and now the referee helping
Eddie
the
Marlin
Freezer
strikes
up while
again.
we pick up all the material that got knocked asunder here. What I was saying is that Mark Guleen stuck his nose in, I'm afraid, with the Midnight Rockers, and boy, their attitude has certainly changed since the...
This is like energy of Ben and Grace trying to recompose and get the next stream going after Ben and Menard had their blow up last night.
Bonus signing and all of that sort of thing. We've got a little something coming up. Told you about some interesting action tapes that we have on the program today. One of them has to do, for you folks who are not aware of it, there's a big tournament in Memphis, Tennessee. It's kind of an ongoing thing, and it consists of eliminations and so forth. It's called the Lord of the Ring tournament. Now, this particular tournament has as a prize a custom-made ring. It's like a Super Bowl ring. Boy, is that son of a gun something, too. I mean, worth like 10 grand. Peril Jewelers in Memphis are customizing this for the winner of the Lord of the Ring tournament. And
Hurricane
it's
Paro?
got a total of about 6 carats of diamonds and rubies and so forth in there, worth $10,000. And it brings out the best of everybody's wrestling area.
Yeah, I like seeing it.
You well know, consisted of
especially if it's another big guy.
By the world heavyweight champion Kurt Hennig, who wanted in on this from the AWA.
Evolve has a
And
bunch
in
of
the
like
first round,
good big
as
guys.
It would, Jerry Lawler and Kurt Hennig met for the first round Lord of the Ring action. I want you. This took place in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Mid-South Coliseum. Please note how Hennig starts this match. This will show you what he wanted to do in terms of winning. Take a look. This is a non-title match. Lawler and Kurt Hennig, the world champion. Well, that Kurt Hennig. Oh. Well, the ring hasn't even started. Hennig got Lawler with a big run. Stomping on him with a right foot. Well, I'll tell you.
Based on some of the comments made by Maniac Mike of the original Rock and Roll Tag Team, the Rock and Roll RPMs, I would say he probably would not be open to working with the Freezer for, reasons.
They've met officially.
Paro Jewelers never put him backstage, yeah.
I made this woman this necklace, and she wouldn't even wear it on the stage. She took it off. I made a ring for Menard, and he didn't even wear it when he went on Kings.
He found that out in their first meeting. Kurt Hennig now
takes Lawler into the corner, slams his head on the top turnbuckle, catches him with a wide-open right hand, draws a reprimand from the referee, and the King is down in the middle of the ring, catches a foot to the side, and look at Hennig come.
Does it not feel like we just went through like a time warp, like where like Curt Hennig and Lawler in this match are just operating at like a completely different level and speed than like pretty much everything else we see in Memphis?
Right in on top. The Lawler fan saying, "Come on, King." We've talked about it for years. Look at this.
Oh yeah, he had some interesting things to say about that and about about gay people. He's had some colorful language.
Two, and Lawler just gets the left shoulder up. Hennig almost had him. He sure did.
Boy, Curt Hennig has not let off 1 second before the bell rang. He made him a big left hand. And continued pounding him. Hennig throws him into the ropes, and as Jerry comes off the road, another big left hand right in the midsection.
Live from the Mid-South Coliseum, you're looking at
Hey, Bob Brown.
Championship Wrestling, and I am here to tell you.
Is it true Mr. Stinky Brew is the new host of OPC or of Lolcow Rejects?
Double hands Lawler over on the ropes. The referee saying, "Back up, let him off the ropes, let him off the ropes." We've talked about for years that Jerry is a slow starter, but when you're against a world champion, you can't afford to get off too slow, and I'm afraid to tell you that Lawler is having one of those nights, and it's such a slow start, I hate to see it get that way, Roger.
You're absolutely right. He's known for that. Boy, he's got him, but over 2 count. No, it's left leg on the rope. The referee sees it, and he calls for the break. Hennig picks him up by the hair. Wow, what a chop.
Boy, he backhanded him right off his feet. And Lawler
Lavender and powder blue. Interesting combo.
On his back, middle of the ring, as the crowd start to holler. Bring Jerry up off his feet if they can. Their support. Ooh, the left shoulder again comes up. Hennig had him in a pin position, but he couldn't put pressure.
That's what
on
Mr.
both
Stinky
sides,
Bruce
and
said in the
Lawler
chat,
got
but
the
he
left
could have been
shoulder
trolling.
up.
I don't know.
Hennig infuriated. They didn't get a 3 count. Pounds with a right hand, and the referee, Jerry Calhoun, says, "You better open him up, or it's going to be a disqualification."
So Lolcow Rejects is going to go dormant for another month or so, and then somebody else will pop up.
He just may knock Lawler right back into this match. I've seen that happen before, Roger.
Yeah, you can push Lawler so far, and after that, you know what happens. A Strout goes down, and look out, Katie bar the door. But boy, he's pounding.
Katie bar the door.
In the turnbuckle. The head right in the buckle.
I hope he's got enough strength left to pull that strap down. Hennig is relentless. Digs him across the eyes, and the referee steps in between, and Hennig turns around and says, "Where's the competition?"
I think people would watch that, Daninsky.
Lawler with a stinging right hand takes it, takes another.
To me, Lolcow Rejects is a complete. I mean, it should be get to a level of monetization pretty quickly, just no matter who's hosting it, as long as they watch Grace videos. I think lots of channels are figuring that out. But like, I think anybody hosting, as long as you are watching Grace related stuff or, you know, Thorpiverse related stuff and letting people talk about them in the chat.
Right hand from Hennig.
Why people have egos about something like Lolcow Rejects and all these clashes keep happening, I don't understand.
Roger, this could be what the folks were hoping for. Here comes the King with a pretty
The Future Empire, I don't know about that.
4 minutes into the action, and the King lets it go on the world champion. Remember, it's a non-title match, but let me tell you, the prestige.
Why, Night Chigger? Do you want to host Lolcow Rejects? I almost guarantee you could if you wanted to.
He is not only looking at that prestige, but at that 10,000.
So, but help me understand this, Get Crack. What do you need to trust OPC about? If you're just hosting a show on there, like, what do you need to trust him about?
Oh, and there
It ain't gonna make any money.
Hennig slung him in, Lawler into Calhoun. Lawler knocked Calhoun 3 feet in the air underneath the bottom rope. Hennig picks Lawler up, drops him a
Well, that could be true.
I mean, and Lawler is down, but the referee is too, so there is no count.
But that's a viewer issue. If you're somebody who wants to go on the show and actually try to have a good show, like what? I don't understand why you need to trust him. What's he gonna do? Delete the VOD? Who like? What could OPC really do to somebody?
Hennig goes over to get referee Jerry Calhoun up. Picks him up.
They want to get paid in super chats, but you would know after the first time. Like you could just be like, "Hey OPC, you know, you're gonna have to front me the, you know, my cut of whatever." Or you would know after a month if he told you to, that like you had to wait till the check came in. You'd only be doing it for a month.
Lawler ducks under a right hand. Atomic knee, and Hennig hangs himself as his head got wrapped
I mean, who would there really be that much super chat money?
in between the top and the second rope. The referee now back up on his feet. Lawler shaking for a little extra rest in there. The referee releases Hennig, and Lawler immediately drops down with that right fist on Hennig's head.
By then it's too late. Well, but still, like,
The winner in 5 minutes, 22 seconds, the King, Jerry Lawler.
Big prestige match.
I'm gonna start my
to
own
beat the
Locale
champion,
Rejects.
Even in
Locale
a non-title
Rejects
bout.
4.
The biggest thing is it keeps Lawler in the Lord of the Ring tournament. It was Whaler. We
Put
got
in
a lot
all
of other
what
action. We're
word?
going to be back. Jimmy Jack Funk.
Dalmatian would be doing that for free on somebody else's channel, or he likes being on all these people want to be on a panel and do a show. Like, it's really not that big of a deal to watch a Grace stream and comment on it. They're not working in the coal mines.
We'll be in
Come
here
on.
before long.
And also, like, who are they to deserve to get paid? Are they bringing eyes to the channel, or are they just somebody there that's filling time? Like, if you're not adding, 20 or 30 viewers just by your presence being there, like, why should you get paid? Shouldn't you get paid off of, like, performance, not like some kind of, like, you know what I mean? I would just be worried about getting established and, like, building the brand more than making the, like, worrying about who's going to split this $8, you know?
Be back with it in just a moment.
Okay, Wednesday night, Evansville Coliseum, brother. I'm telling you what, it is business as usual. I mean,
he's lied to me before, Daninsky, but I don't hold it against him, we're in that kind of an environment. But, like, I just don't know, aside from being like, oh, I hosted on a panel, and if you want to be on Locale Rejects, you're probably a panel hopper, or you're somebody who like D-Dog that wants, like, an authoritarian hold on a stream or whatever. So, like, you're getting something out of it already. You're getting a platform that's automatically going to guarantee people see you. So I don't know.
action.
It sounds to me like they're there to take care of themselves, not to take care of Locale Rejects.
The bouts.
They don't want to be part of a team. They want to pick off the carcass of OPC
Bobby
Don.
Jaggers in a loser leave town match, Nate the Rat. God, Hall, you'll never put your hands on me again and get away with this, brother. Bobby Jaggers, my main man's gonna take this cane and put it upside your
I'm
head.
a big
We're gonna run
Paro
you plumb
fan.
out of town, brother.
I
You're
like
not gonna get away
D-Dog.
with this one. Someone will be running out of town after that match. Scott Hall, Hangman, Bobby Jaggers. Another bout you're going to want to see is that cage match. I mean, the big cage, my friend. There won't be...
Now, Ruby, if you're talking about bringing on somebody, like, and paying them, somebody like Ruby, I would get that, right? Bringing Ruby in. Well, that's what I'm saying, Get Crack. It's not just that they can't trust OPC. It's that if we're being honest, OPC can't trust them. And if one little thing goes wrong, they're going to nuke the channel and report everybody. Like, so it's not like one side here is angelic and one isn't. Like, nobody trusts anybody, and everyone should just be thinking, how can we build the strongest Locale Rejects? Because, be real, everybody benefits from that. People that like them benefit. People that are haters benefit because you can get clips. Like, everyone benefits from a strong central channel.
Being easy running in and out of that son of a gun. When the superstar Bill Dundee makes an impression, I am sure, on the Singapore maniac. Let's listen to Mark Goulin right now.
Bill Dundee, you cowardly dog. We're here today to announce your demise. You ran all over the Coliseum, Joe Khan. You did everything you could to get away.
But, well, I don't think D-Dog's channel is going to be drama because he wants a tight hold over the chat. But the drama is the reason that none of these channels are ever really going to, unless they're doing drama in like a, not in a bunch of like profile pictures yelling at each other in Discord. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, and again, all that drama just makes people leave, and instead of capitalizing on the drama, everybody just wants to like go on the attack.
From him, but this time you're in a cage, and you have signed your own death warrant. Because in a cage,
people don't want to help OPC.
Is at home, and
now that I understand completely. If you're saying like, I just don't like OPC because I think the money's going to the Thorpes, the absolute best way to handle that is to just not watch Lolcow Rejects. Don't host Lolcow Rejects, because again, it's not that you can't trust OPC, because you know OPC is close with the Thorpes. So if that makes you uncomfortable, don't host the show. But like, it just seems like people want to do stuff that they know how it's going to turn out, and then they're like, "Oh my God, I'm shocked."
There will not be enough left of you to send home in a shoebox, Bill Dundee. You are done.
Oh yeah, Dundee and
he is a Thorpe proxy. Like, there's no it's not up for debate in my opinion. OPC Don is a Thorpe operative. Now, how loyal he is to them fluctuates, but he's always like tethered to that, tethered to his little like roaming area.
T-Joe Khan will be going at it. Also, Jeff Jarrett gets another crack at Hector Guerrero. All of that and more Wednesday night in the Coliseum. Okay, Randy, we're ready to go. Randy Hale sitting in with us today for the vacationing Dave Brown, and we're about ready for our next match, Randy.
One fall, 15-minute time limit, wrestling out of Tennessee, Lance. David Johnson, his opponent, wrestling out of the state of...
But if you're going to go into business, or you're going to try to go into entertainment, or even just streaming with collabs and stuff like that, to expect to trust everybody that you're working with, just look at the situation and say, do OPC Don and I want to get to about the same place? Does it benefit OPC Don and myself enough to move forward to this point? And if that's true, then do it. And if not, then don't do it. But it's the idea that anybody trusts anybody is crazy. Like,
Texas, Jimmy Jack Funk.
Jimmy Jack. Wild and woolly son of a gun, and I'll tell you one thing.
Right, but we wouldn't have this issue get crack if people like D-Dog didn't just go make their own channel in the first place. He knows that OPC is a proxy of the Thorpes, and yet he still was like, oh no, OPC told me this is all on the up and up, and then, oh no, OPC backstabbed me, I'm gonna nuke the channel. He knew going into it what would happen. So if it's not kayfabe, then like, why is D-Dog trusting a guy that literally anybody who's ever met OPC Don knows that he's a Thorpe proxy?
David Johnson has not got the easiest task in the world to get.
Trust Bethadone? Well, there are different types of trust, Joe Shabatoni. Do I think you never know how people are going to behave under given circumstances? I'm just saying, it's a very low trust sector.
Get in there with Jimmy Jack. We've seen this guy get absolutely...
Get crack. I literally heard the stream where he goes, okay, guys, OPC backstabbed me, and got like all emo. Come on, he knew what was going to happen. It's OPC Don.
Be insane too many times, Randy.
Did he really get outsmarted by OPC? It's one or the other. You either get out. You either knew what you were doing and you were using it as a way to launch your own channel, or you got outsmarted by OPC.
On top of the rope, he bounces him down, and David Johnson just hits the mat as Jimmy Jack stays on him. We've made this comment so many times that when you see Funk, you don't realize how big he is. But this
You trust
guy
Beth with your life?
163 pounds, and you stand next to him, and boy, you can just feel the size of him. David Johnson trying to fight his way back, goes over to the corner, and as he comes off, Jimmy Jack ducks underneath him.
Really underestimating the Scat Goblin.
But over the top he went. Jimmy Jack picks him straight up in the air.
I just don't think it's that. I don't think it's as complicated. It's fun to think that it is, but I really just don't think it is.
So, not too long as Jimmy Jack Funk made short work of David Johnson, who gave it all he had. He missed that one big shot that he had with a flying press.
King Lawler, I'm coming for you Monday night, and you're gonna regret ever hearing the name Funk.
Okay, there's Jimmy Jack. We'll take time out. We got more wrestling action.
I already regret having to see that match. I hate his finish. I can't stand it.
Litchfield, Kentucky at the Grayson County High School. You can save $1 by getting your ticket in advance. We'll have more specific details on it as we get a little bit closer to it. Thursday, January the 7th, Litchfield, Kentucky. All right, let's go back and review the action coming in Wednesday.
Well, let me phrase it this way, Get Crack. If there are really deep, intricate chess games going on over the same, who's going to get the same 100 viewers, that's not really, like, that's not a chess game like I want to play. Like, I really feel like if people wouldn't treat it like a, if you're going to, I think you should treat it like a business in the sense that, like, you show up when you say you're going to show up. You know, you try to, you know, put on a good show or whatever, but treating everything transactionally and not only wanting to collab under certain circumstances or trying to monetize and weaponize, you know, the YouTube copyright shit and stuff like that over like channels that aren't even making any money doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't seem like a chess game. That seems like, you know, somebody with a helmet on banging their head into a wall.
Wednesday night to the Evansville Coliseum, a dandy Nightmare is going to be taking on Jimmy Jack Funk. Return grudge match when the RPMs will be facing the Bruise brothers, Ron and Don. That'll be a good one. Billy Travis may
yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
The Raging Bull in a single challenge match. Loser leave town. Hangman Bobby Jaggers and Big Scott Hall. Cage match. T.J. Khan and the Superstar Bill Dundee. And then the final bout, Jeff Jarrett going against Hector Guerrero. And you'll be seeing more of that action, you better believe, Wednesday night when it all takes place right there in the Evansville Coliseum. Make your plans right now to be out Wednesday.
Okay, we're about ready to go with our next piece of action in here. This is the first time, to the best of my shaky memory, that Scott...
I think there are a lot of people in our sector that are like zero-sum mindset that basically they would rather tank their own stuff if it means like getting a shot in at somebody else. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Instead of just like trying to make the best possible product they can, they want to like sink themselves to drag somebody else down. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Like D-Dog, if you want to go get your own show, okay, but why do you need to nuke the channel and then report, like be a Karen and report the streams?
Hall has ever been live with us on Championship. Did we have him once before? Thank you, Randy. This is my walking memory bank right here. Randy can remember all of the weights and where the guys are from and whether they've been here before. So we are about ready to see Scott Hall make his appearance, but that is not Scott Hall. There's a little discrepancy in the height. I can tell that right off the bat. This is Nate the Rat Whitlock who is coming in. There is Scott Hall.
Come up here.
Got a match coming up here.
I ain't got time for this match. I ain't got time for this jerk. I got something to say.
Yeah. Nate Whitlock was out here with Keith Eric, and what is it?
Everybody has saw Bobby Jaggers, the Hangman, the toughest man in professional wrestling. He's not here today, but everybody knows Bobby Jaggers is the toughest man in professional wrestling. You know that.
He's a tough wrestler.
That's
no
right.
question about it.
And this is the greatest day of my entire life, let me tell you. This man right here, Mr. Keith Eric, I've been seeing him wrestle for years. And
That's why, like, these people aren't even doing shows. There's no concept, no format. Yeah. Which is okay. I mean, I think there is definitely a market for that, but
I'll admit his win and loss record is,
you never know who's going to show up. You never know who's going to be running policing the chat.
Right here, this man right here is going to
They're
be
worried
the
about
champion,
super chats, but they can't even get like consistent moderation or a schedule.
You know, he's supposed to be international.
I want a big check, but I'm gonna just, it's gonna be completely random when I show up and when I end.
Right here, because he is going to beat that man right here today.
We got a match. Would you mind?
Straight up Tony Clifton. How dare you, Cody Turbo? That's Nate the Rat.
I'm a gentleman. I'm not going to slap.
Oh no! No! Oh my God! Scott Hall versus Nate the Rat.
Came to see wrestling, not to listen to some jerk like you.
Who, me, Daninsky? I'm already monetized.
You heard what he said in there.
Whoa!
I think that closed that.
Wow, super young Scott Hall.
I think that ended the interview.
Look at this shit. Oh my God.
Well, Nate the Rat felt the rat. Whoa! Look at the drop kick from Big Scott Hall on Keith Eric.
Man, this is amazing. Dude, it's like he's from another planet dropping in here.
Well, Bobby Jaggers isn't here. Keith Eric is here. He's in the middle of the ring.
Ooh, big leg.
Leg drop, Lance. Scott Hall is in complete control of this situation with Keith Eric.
If Bobby Jaggers is here, I can't see he's not going to get away with it. I'm going to get Bobby Jaggers. I'm going to call him up on the phone right now.
Big bulldog. Scott Hall won. He got two.
Man, that was just a brutalization. Mark's business presentation.
He may come back out here. And
So my chat went down.
Get out of here right now. Here he comes. I think you'd better get out of here right now.
Hold on, I gotta update my
Take
chat.
it on out of here. Keith Eric
Keith Haring.
felt the power of Scott Hall, and boy, I'll tell you, he is strong, isn't he, Randy?
Yeah, Razor Ramon was great.
I think Nate the Rat made a serious mistake there. Don't you, Lance?
Yeah. Hall just picked him up, boom, set him down on the desk, and then pushed him over like a Cupid doll. Winner, officially, Scott Hall. Back in a moment. Up in the ring right now, Jeff Jarrett.
Kind of,
we
yeah.
are almost set and ready to go with a match.
Jeez,
We've
what
been
a
waiting. This
bruiser,
ought to be a
man.
good one.
Really excited about it, Lance. Here comes Hector. We're trying to get this match. Let me say one thing. Hey, I got something to say.
Well, you got some more Christmas songs?
No more Christmas songs. No more Christmas songs for all you people out there. Just let me say one thing and let it be known that the power and the agility and the skills of Hector Guerrero as a Mexican wrestler, which is superior to your American wrestler.
I like Keith Eric because some of the time he wears the same colors as Billy Jack Haynes.
It's always 100% better. Let me tell you something. I've been watching this Jeff Jarrett and how all you people support him. I wouldn't support that chicken skin looking little chickie for nothing. Jeff Jarrett, all I ever see about you is when you get in the ring, is all you can do is throw a punch. No, I can talk, but I can back it up. Let me tell you something. Everything I say, I back it up 100%. Come here, Jeff. Come here. I got something to ask you.
2 promos in the same show.
Right here, right now, Lance. Come on, Jeff.
You got any more hot peppers?
No.
A lot of talking over here, isn't it?
Wait a minute. One thing. I I can back up my talking. I've always done it. Hey, and I've always been a 100%
Manny Fernandez
top
poster.
athlete wherever I've been. Now, let's say one thing. You and I are scheduled for a match right now, right? Right. Okay. I will prove that Mexican wrestling is a lot better than United States wrestling, and you can be the representative of the United States, and I'll be the representative of the United States of Mexico, because you all stole that name from us, you know, United States. We were United States before you were. So you all remember that. Hold on, Jeff. One thing, one stipulation, so we can have a good, clean, honest-to-goodness Mexican-American match. Notice how I said that, Mexican-American. We're first. Let me see. Whoever throws the first punch, come here, ref. One stipulation right here, and if you agree, I'm going to go for it. Whoever throws the first punch is automatically disqualified and loses the match. Is that all right? Do you agree for that?
Hey, do you agree for that?
I agree. I put up the stipulation, man. Hey, you want to get up
Oh man, the Brick House run we saw earlier in the '87 was great.
Anybody wants to get in the ring with me, I'll kick your butt. Well, come on.
So you're saying the first punch or the first kick, you disqualify, you lose the match?
Honestly, he kind of carried
illegal punch, and we're talking
there for a
about
few months.
Illegal. Right. There's forearms that are illegal. There's underarms that are illegal, right? Hey, okay, we're going to get up in the ring and we're going to see.
I thought he said underarm hair. I thought about Grace.
Get up there and go.
We're going to see what kind of cookies he's made out of.
All right.
Uh-oh, ATF Media. He's got his poncho off, buddy.
Hector's out here, and he's stepped into something that Jeff Jarrett loves, and that's to wrestle, not street fight or anything else. Guerrero's the one says, first punch, you lose the match. Here we go, Randy.
15-minute time limit. Guerrero out of Mexico. Jeff Jarrett out of Hendersonville, Tennessee. Guerrero backs him up, Lance. He gets a clean break. If he would have nailed him with a fist, it would have been all over, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. If the first one that throws a punch in there, Hector was talking
That was
about
whenever
nice.
Fred Ottman was doing the like hip-hop dance gimmick.
Hector Guerrero. Hector, there's no question about it. Hector is a very agile, a very fast wrestler. This guy can move. He'll do all kind of neat acrobatics on you and have you in a hole before you know what's happening. Just look at that. He took the arm into a hammerlock and then hip tossed him before Jeff really knew he was around behind him. But he's going against a guy.
Just good old-fashioned grappling.
Equal in speed, if not a little faster. Guerrero goes around behind, takes Jeff down, rolls him up, got a one, and look at Jarrett. Hooked him with a leg.
One thing, Lance, in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Jeff has looked real good, had some of the toughest matches of his career with Jerry Lawler. And
yeah,
also
Hector's
against
great.
The world heavyweight champion, Jeff has looked fantastic.
That's right. He wrestled Hennig.
We have someone in chat whose username is Gobbledygook as a tribute to Hector Guerrero.
Well, now Hector's complaining about all the chicken skins, as he called them, out in the audience. I'm telling you, this guy is a case and a half. Right now, he's caught in a standing side headlock, but he shakes Jarrett
They put up a
off.
shot. Oh man, I can't wait. I hope they put up all of them over time.
Now another standing side headlock is Jeff.
Oh, Shotgun Saturday Night era Sonny.
Don't get a chance too often, Lance, to see these type of matches, wrestling matches on our championship wrestling.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Hector with a forearm shot to the ribs twice.
Do you think Sonny kind of, at times, had kind of a trad girl thing, since Sable was always so, like, overtly sexual, but Sonny was always kind of like girl next door?
I got him now, he says. We're about look at this. Jeff Jarrett coming back up. We're coming up on the 3-minute mark in this action as Jeff Jarrett and Hector Guerrero.
I went from the Cherry 2000 to Sonny to Jody Arias to Grace Thorpe pipeline.
Going in a match, in case you just joined us. Stipulations, believe it or not, made by Hector Guerrero. The first one that throws a punch loses the match.
Yeah, I didn't like Sonny either.
He's trying to show Jeff that he's a better wrestler than he is, and he's saying he's representing Mexico. Jeff is representing the United
Sable
States.
to me was always
He's
just
got
like,
him hooked now with an arm and a hammerlock. He comes with a reverse face lock. And
Turkish wrestling? No. No.
Hector
I've seen oil wrestling before, but I don't think I've seen Turkish oil wrestling.
Has that right arm of his wrapped right across the chin bone. Jeff nails it to the midsection, reverses it on Hector.
Takes him down, Lance.
Yes, he does. Got him right down in the middle of
Menard's
the
a big
mat.
fan.
Not close to a pin.
Calling Sonny.
We've got
Yeah,
1
I mean,
15 minutes in this match, and we're about 3 and
I feel like she was though, like, by comparison, I feel like Sonny was just way more over the top with it than Sonny was.
a half minutes into the action.
Hector clinched up that fist, Lance, and
I still can't believe she made those pornos. I just like I had completely given up on that ever being a thing. But that was like pre-OF and
Takes him
stuff.
up while his arm is still hooked and dropped him with a backbreaker across that knee. Got out of it. Now Guerrero cinching up on the feet. If you'll notice how Hector has it in.
Because those Missy Hyatt website videos were always really lame.
Can't get him up and hold him as he rolls him over and he's hollering at the referee, why did you not count? The referee say, I did once. And that's all
nice.
was a 1 count.
Joe Shabatoni. Randy was telling some Joe Shabatoni lore earlier about your old profile picture.
Second generation wrestlers in there right now, Randy. Of course,
Yes, Ganglebesh. Weird AF.
his dad Jerry was an outstanding wrestler. Hector Guerrero's father was an outstanding wrestler. And his brother Chavo, and he has a younger brother. Whoa!
Count of 2, Lance.
Big backdrop. You betcha. Guerrero telling the referee it was only 2. It was only 2. The referee being well aware of it. You give him half a chance and Hector will talk your ear right off your head. I thought we were going to stand out here and talk all day before he ever got up in the ring.
Earlier, had a concert out here at the Memphis show.
Oh, yeah, we had that also at the very beginning of the program. Scissors
Yeah, her
just
OF
right,
is pretty
takes him
wild.
down, and again, hooks him with that reverse face lock, and boy, he is...
I had the same feeling that I have every time I find somebody doing like trad girl type shorts on, or you know, just like not wholesome, but you know what I mean, like kind like slutty trad stuff, and then they always end up having an OnlyFans. That's how I felt seeing the Sunny video.
Is putting some pressure across that chin. Woo! Guerrero again with a snappy move. Little surprised that he came up with the stipulations about the first one.
I was shocked when I found out that Coco Star had
no question. Jeff has thrown a few
spicy
himself.
content. I couldn't believe it.
Boy gets him in that bow and arrow. Thought he might have a submission pin on
Hey,
Jeff,
Shawn,
but he had his
Sean
own
Mitchum,
shoulders down,
Mayhem,
and the referee started counting
Sean
Hector, and
Mean.
to scramble to get out of that, Randy.
I think Hector's losing his temper a little bit now, Lance. Also, I heard him asking for his own
Strange
referee.
and Trippy.
So he's complaining about the referee now.
Are you any relation to Trippy
With 6
Cast?
minutes and 15 seconds into
The guy that the Hormaxer VTuber?
Kick a second one, Lance.
There's a cover from Jeff. Foot of Hector's up on the rope. That'll break it up. Jeff had the pin, but Hector was so close to the rope. He
I don't
slipped
Google him
right up
anymore.
over the rope.
I just pretend like whatever's on YouTube is all there is.
Wait. Let's talk about this. Look out, Jeff. When he wants to start talking, that's when you look out. Tangle it up.
I will never Google flex him.
Whip across the ring. Hooks that arm with that rolling arm lock, and look at Hector. Oh, trying to get Jeff mad now. Slaps him in the face. He backs Hector in the corner. Hey! Guerrero, 1, 2, feet on the rope, 3.
Pronouns, pal.
Hector Guerrero hit him first.
Oh, remember Ryan Shamrock?
Trying to pry him apart. And then
Remember that amazing clip where she didn't know what to do and she froze up and she's just staring at Ken Shamrock, and then he just says in a normal speaking voice, he's like, slap me. And then she slaps him.
He gets him down with the feet on the rope and gets a 1-2.
Yeah. Like you say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That's what I say about you American people.
Okay, Hector, you can just leave in there. The referee, who, of course, was underneath when the fist was thrown, did not see the feet up there, follows Hector out of there, and Jeff is sitting in a situation where he ends up losing 1, 2, 3.
Lance, you saw exactly what happened, didn't you? His feet were on the rope, or were they not?
That Liver King shit's crazy.
I agreed to a wrestling match, and that's what I thought I was going to have. He wants to come out
Thorpe
and use the
coded
fist,
Cody
and
Turbo.
then he wants to put his feet on the ropes with Hector Guerrero. That's fine with me, pal. I'll fight fire with fire. If you want to use
Get
fist,
that
brother,
shit off
I
the
guarantee
fucking
I'll shove this fist
desk. That
so
makes
far
me
down
so
your throat,
mad.
brother, you wanna. It's going to take a crane to pull it out.
I don't think we're going to have, if these guys meet again, there won't be
Boy,
any
I guess.
rule like we had before. Because Hector got him right in the middle of that corner. While the referee's trying to pry him apart, he reached over, bam, and nailed him a solid one, and then put his feet up on the
Look at EFB's way of holding the
people have been
microphone
saying,
is
how
great.
about that Jeff Jarrett poster? Can we get some information?
Oh, no,
Take
the
your
Jeff Jarrett
pencil
poster.
right now and write down this number, because I think you may be interested yourself. Take a look at this.
I watched the Netflix documentary after that happened. At the DX pay-per-view.
Wow. Now that's a poster.
To order your Jeff Jarrett poster, call 1-800-336-2600. That's 1-800-336-2600. Save COD charges by having your credit card ready,
isn't
or
too
send
bad.
a check or money order in the amount of $10 to Jarrett Poster, Post Office Box 3020, Cherry Hill, New Jersey 08034. Allowed 2 weeks for delivery.
I don't know. I always wish they would have done something interesting with him and Dan Severn.
With Billy Travis and the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez, you'll also be seeing a loser league
I don't know.
with Bobby Jaggers and Big Scott Hall, Jeff Jarrett.
If nobody has, I bet you though AEW's fan base would buy a lot of those. I'm just saying, like, for various reasons, but they also love like nostalgia shit, and I know that Tony Khan loves nostalgia. And I think Jarrett's still there, isn't he?
Hector Guerrero, and the huge cage will be up. Bill Dundee and T.Joe Khan will be right inside of it. Billy, this one means nobody gets in, nobody gets out.
That's right. The only guy that gets out is the guy that walks out. Well, I'm sure we'll both walk out, but
The
one
fuck
will be
is he?
standing in the middle
What
of the
happened
ring
to his
before he does it
hair,
with
and
his
what is he
hand raised.
wearing here?
And I plan that on being me. Now, Margalina, I'm going to stop this before you get it started, brother. You were trying to put together the Midnight Rockers, T.Joe Khan, and anybody else that'll sign up with you. Well, you're not making
bet
no
Dixie
reputation
bought
on
that
me,
poster.
brother, because I've been coming to Evansville, Indiana an awful long time. And I don't mind getting beat, because I've been beat before, and I'm sure I'm going to get beat again. But I like it when it's face on, brother, when I know exactly what's going on. I don't like to be jumped from the back like you and this idiot Chinaman that you brought in that did it a couple of weeks ago on television. So you're going to turn this big guy loose in this cage. Well, I'm getting in the cage too, brother, and I know what you're going to say. He's only 5'7" and 200 pounds. Well, that's right, but just remember the first story, the first book they ever wrote, it was about a great big guy and a little fella, and I plan on keeping the reputation alive. Remember the story of little David and Goliath? Well, we all know who won that, brother, and I plan on winning this. Because I've been in a bunch of cage matches before, and I ain't won them all. But I'm going to win this
An
one, brother,
iPad
because I
holster.
don't like
What
you,
a
and I don't
strange
like your Chinaman.
outfit.
I'm going to see all them nice folks in the Coliseum, and I'm taking that boy out.
Ring here
What
with
a
Ron
promo,
and Don
though.
Bruise.
Wow.
Blue Denim Bruise Brothers will be in action in
Good
just
shit.
a moment. Before they get it, we want to talk to not only the Bruise Brothers, but I want to bring Scott Hall out here because
He's got the highest body stack in all of pro wrestling.
Scott, slide on in here, partner. We're
The
delighted
Rat
to have you
King.
right here with us from Orlando, Florida. I know you've been up to traveling and around a lot of different places. How things been going?
Well, I'll tell you, I just got back from Japan last week. I had a really successful month-long tour over there. And, you know, 88's just right around the corner, New Year coming our way. And it's not by mistake that you see a lot of the top names in the wrestling profession. Everybody seems to be descending on the mid-southern area. I just want to add my name to the list. I think that all the fans in the area...
How would Ben look with kind of like a short mullet, but with that nice color pattern in it?
Just to bring up something that happened a little bit earlier for the
Maybe
folks
Ben
who
should
saw
go
it, they'll know
retro
what I'm
with the
talking
hair.
About. Well, we'll tell you folks about it later on that didn't see it. Nate Whitlock was out here, and of course Nate is Bobby Jaggers'
He's like a bat.
manager. And Jaggers, I know you know of Jaggers' reputation and all, but he's saying, boy, if Bobby Jaggers had have been here, you wouldn't have done that to me. He was really...
Well, you know, I have my view on managers and valets and all that. I believe, you know, they have their part maybe behind the scenes. I don't really think managers should be involved in matches directly, but if the guy wants to run his mouth, take up valuable television time, the fans at home, all the fans here came to see wrestling. Am I right or wrong?
Wow, he's really on it already.
Some little jerk running his mouth, making idle threats. Now, Bobby Jaggers, I know all about you. Your reputation.
Yeah, but Bill Dundee was he would offer to introduce him if they properly thanked him.
Precedes itself. But, you know, you don't have to talk to some little weasel like that. If you want a piece of Scott Hall, I'm easy to find. I'm 6'6". I'm nearly 300 pounds. You can't miss me when you walk in the building. So if you want a piece of me, I'm easy to find.
Okay, good luck to you. Boy, it's good to have you here, too. I want to tell you that. This guy, 287, and he large.
Look at EFD. He can't believe it.
Hey, that's not all. Before we get him into the ring, see if we can get the Bruise brothers out here before they get there. I want to see. Here they come over here. Fine.
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
Before they get into the ring, I'm going to catch him because I think the last time we saw him, as a matter of fact, they
Color
had
me
not had
bad.
their
What
first
a
official
terrible
match
thing
in
to
this
bring up.
area. Ron and Don Bruise. Hey guys,
Oh, we're back with the Harrises
ring.
again.
Step on in here with me. I've been dwarfed by
Crazy. This is what they look like. I
okay.
can't believe it.
Listen, how's it going? I want to know the reaction. You know, we were just saying that we had you here before you had really your first official match in the Mid-South area. And so how's it been going since that time?
It's been going real good. There's a lot of good competition up here. It's a
Crazy.
good area for us to start in. And,
Yeah, EFD's styling, man.
It's just going real good so far.
Well, you, I know, right
Look
off
like
the
he'd
bat,
be
you had to
selling
go in there against the rock and roll
sample-sized
RPM,
colognes and
that was
perfumes
kind
out
of
of a briefcase
baptism
in a gas
itself right
station
there, 'cause
parking
those
lot.
guys been around and they'll use anything, won't they?
They look like they're about to take a bath.
You know, off for us. But
well, hey.
They pulled out the nuts, and they got us with the nuts, but we'll be watching out.
Pulled
for
out
it
the
next
nuts.
time.
I certainly hope. That's the biggest thing you got to learn is one match does not.
This is just
make
nuts
an
to
entire
me how
career,
different
so
they
look
look.
for them next time. Good luck to you guys. Delighted to have you right here. Ron and
This
Don
can't be the
Bruise.
people that were
The
fired
Blue
for
Ribbon
TNA
Blues
over
Brothers.
white
They're
supremacist
sponsored by
tattoos.
the great singing group Sawyer Brown. And while they head to the ring now.
287, well on his way to 400 pounds.
Rough and ready coming up. Let's have the introductions, Randy.
If Jeff Jarrett won the Rookie of the Year, where did we finish up? How many votes did we get?
I don't think you want to know, boss.
Real underrated thing was whenever Ben kept playing up the numbers on those early Lolcow Reject shows, and he'd be like, "Oh, Grace, look, we're up to 200. Well on our way to 500 viewers."
Let's have the introduction.
He just kept expanding it to ridiculous levels. Hey, Vinnie, what's up, man?
Rough and ready.
That's Skull and 8 Ball, yeah.
Wrestling out of the state of Florida, Ron and Don Bruise, and Rough and Ready attacks
Got him with the nuts.
And get this one started. That's about the third one we started this way today, before the bells even.
Everybody's eager to get it going, and now comes.
I don't think they're supposed to step on that chair, are they? I thought that was for the manager to sit in.
When they're wheeling around the ring and all, it is very hard. That is Don in there right now.
I was going to say, Lance, I'll leave you in charge of identifying these guys.
The nice thing about it is that if we say it like we know what which one it is, the folks out there don't know either, because boy, they are tough to tell.
Won't have any idea.
Identical twins. They're right at 6'7". They weigh 500.
Wouldn't that be fun to yell at them, Bob Brown, since they're baby faces?
Very good athletes.
Uh-oh. Is Beth's demon taking over the stream?
Brown, who was saying, my first remembrance of these guys is when they beat up the whole senior class, threw the principal out of the window, and he was kidding about that.
Hey, how dare you? Don't besmirch Rough and Ready.
Sawyer Brown took an interest in professional wrestling. As of course, they were high school friends, but they're kind of like their sponsor. Or
yeah.
Vinnie, Viva Mexicano.
And
yeah, remember Vinny's new catchphrase he did the other day when he got out of the car? He was like,
"Woohoo!" Matches whenever it's possible in their permits, which is not all that often. Now you see
Lavender
the
boots.
smaller,
I think so, yeah. Well, I don't know about purple. Isn't lavender kind of a lighter?
Both down. He had it going there for a second, but he tried to knock him over. You can't hardly take a pebble and bowl over a boulder. Kind of one. He kicks out of it.
To make a change, Lance, which one is this coming in? Is this...
Okay, this is Ron that steps into the ring right now as...
I'm about to post a clip to his playlist where he explains how to record. I think it's analog audio cassettes, how to convert them to digital files. I think that's the I think that's the gimmick anyway.
The Bruise brothers facing Rough and Ready and a clothesline. Didn't catch him really that solid, but when you're that big, you don't have to catch them all that solid.
I don't know,
every
Daninsky.
time, because just part of the arm will tear you up. Standing side headlock.
I feel like
is,
Ben will always
whips
stream.
around there.
You know, he'll even if it's just in like Discords. I think Ben likes talking to people.
The occasion to clap and say, "There you are. How do you like that?" But it didn't last long. Big long head scissors slapped on him.
Yeah, D-Dog nuked Locale Rejects on the way out.
Jerry Calhoun telling Boss, "Stay away from the ring, will you please?"
He Sherman marched through the archive.
Winters has a big mouth, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, yeah, he's talking.
Grace shouldn't. I don't want to see Grace on Fish Tank.
I'll tell you, he's got supreme confidence in Rough.
She's not built for Fish Tank.
He really backs him, and I'll tell you all about him. Don comes sailing into the ring now, plants a big heavy fist, knee lift. As he brings it up to the midsection, and you can see when you get against somebody of normal size, a tremendous leverage that these guys have, because they are big boys. They work out a lot in the gym, and they're just now starting their wrestling career. You got in on the beginning. These guys go on to be World Tag Champions. You can say,
He didn't get it removed. But he deleted all of the old VODs, from what I understand, and then reported misunderstood.
Referee Jerry Calhoun saying, "Watch the eyes," as Rough raked him across the eyes. Has that arm whipped around behind him, elbow. Drops down on his shoulder. There's the tag.
These guys should team up with Scott Hall.
Through the ropes, Randy.
It looked like it, Lance, and I don't know if this Rough or Ready, which one it is, but he gets out of there in a hurry.
Rough pounded down on the deck as we've got about 2 minutes to go in the expiration of time. And the match has essentially been all the Blue Denim Bruise brothers. Rough wheeled across. As Don comes in, takes over with a long clothesline, puts him down on the mat.
He'll be back for
They
sure.
have not been able to get
If this isn't all just a big facade to really throw people off track that Ben and Grace are actually behind D-Dog's new channel. They knew OPC had the RV stink on him.
Took him over 1, 2, 3. Yes.
Super move, Lance.
Really a beauty. He realized that he didn't have that abdominal stretch hooked exactly where he could get the pressure flying to its best advantage, but he was able to take him down from behind, roll him right up in a pin position, get a 1, 2, 3. Ron and Don Bruise come out the victor.
That would be very
over the
poetic.
Team of Rough and Ready as Boss Winters.
It'd be Keenan.
We're going to take time out. Be back for the final word for you after we check our time. Very much. You're sitting in for Dave today. He's on vacation, and we appreciate and enjoyed having you right here.
Enjoyed it, Lance.
Okay, let's review what happened today. T. Joe Khan with an easy one over
Freezer Thompson, Jimmy Jack Funk took the easy measure of David Johnson in their Scott Hall.
Yeah, they're always
having
around.
Deposited Nate the Rat right
Never really. I
and
mean,
then down
they're
on
not.
the
You know,
floor.
they're not the best matches, but they're not really given the chance. But I always think they're
Jeff
like
Jarrett,
solid anyway.
Hector Guerrero in an interesting match. Hector proposed no fist, just straight wrestling. Well, he found out Jarrett could wrestle a whole lot better than he
Alex
thought he
Jones
could.
cage
And when
video
they got
of the
corner jam
FEMA
over
death
here with
cages.
the referee's head down, he punches Jeff.
Then
Then
use
when
the
he
rope.
gets him on, put his feet up on the rope, didn't he? He got a 1, 2, 3. He made Mr. Jarrett very hot, I can say that.
He's ready for him, no doubt.
And Ron and Don Bruise came.
Okay, so I don't have time for another full episode, but would you guys rather? I got a like half-hour-ish Jim Cornette clip, which I don't know how that'll work with YouTube, but I think I've seen other people that watch his videos and react to them about the history of wrestling in Evansville, or we can try to find an episode or two of Jerry Lawler's talk show. Do you want to do the Jerry Lawler talk show since it's kind of like more Memphis related as opposed to just Evansville? And like visually, it'll be more dynamic too. Get crack any thoughts behind that Ben and Grace are behind the new D-Dog channel? They just needed to launder OPC out of the deal. Sorry. ATF, you would prefer, we only have 2 votes? Well, that makes it tough. Do the 12-hour Khalil Watts. I want to do the Khalil Watts all in one. I want to do it in one sitting, though. Well, let's do the Cornette, and then I'll do, maybe next week, we'll do a whole day of Jerry Lawler episodes. Oh, I've got that coming in. That'll be on Boyd Watch tomorrow, Bob Brown.
Came around, went against Rough and Ready, and they ended up victorious on our championship wrestling today. Well, all in all, it was fun. We got to hear some of Hector's smart remarks about Christmas and a few other things, and there's just no way to keep that guy's mouth shut. Hey, I want to say for everybody in the wrestling office, my friend, for Randy Hales, and of course vacationing Dave Brown, Eddie Marlin, everybody else, we hope you have a marvelous Christmas season. We wish nothing but the best, and particularly good health. And until we see you next week, Lance Russell saying bye-bye, everybody.
Here's an email that I got. Remember we were talking about...
Again, I don't know 100% on this copyright, but I'm willing to roll the dice. I've seen a couple other people do it, so hopefully we'll be okay. But if for some reason the stream ends, I'll be back tomorrow for Boyd Watch.
This maybe straighten up and fly right here, because this is history we've got to do correctly. For the record, we were talking about the collaboration between Dick the Bruiser and Jerry Jarrett in 1982 when Bruiser, and I saw an ad, Bruiser had run Market Square Arena, I think, for the last time in 1981. And
Cornette got that Bethadone thumbnail face.
Bruiser and... It may have been Snyder versus the Kelly twins, Pat and Mike Kelly in Market Square Arena in 1981. Can you imagine how abysmal that may have been?
I was afraid you were going to say Ox Baker was one of the opponents, and I was thinking, oh, that must have been abysmal.
No, but nevertheless. And we've talked about just recently also when Bruiser and Snyder more or less strong-armed a piece of Louisville and Evansville, Indiana from Jerry Jarrett when he opened back up in the early 70s,
Boozer.
right? We had that discussion recently.
I love it when he calls Moxley Dick the
Yeah, that was
Boozer.
from a question from Dave Dynasty.
That's right.
And
a great historian.
Well, boy, you're throwing around the word. Hold on here 1 second. Wait a minute.
See, that's the key to getting your letters read on the air, ladies and gentlemen. You got to be you got to be a great historian out there. You got to know your area.
You're throwing that around like, Jimmy Hart saying baby. But anyway, it's fascinating because we've been talking a lot about various times where promoters have had wars. We talked about Sheik and the Bruiser. We covered the Atlanta Wrestling War. But on a local level, there were still these little skirmishes going on in the territory days that until you look back and uncover, you don't really know the extent of or what happened. And when we've talked about Louisville history, remember I said Phil Golden's All-Star Wrestling that competed with Jarrett in Louisville and in other places in 1972 and 73. First of all, Phil Golden was either the brother or the cousin of Bill Golden, who was a member of the Welch family by marriage, and with Nick and Roy behind Jarrett in Louisville. In effect, you had members of the family running opposition to each other, which I always found fascinating. But Angelo Poffo was involved in that promotion.
Cornette God tier
and he
yapper
later
too.
on, 5 years later, with his sons, Randy and Lanny, would open up ICW in these same markets, try to do the same thing in the same place. And there's some additional information on Bruiser and or Jarrett and or Goulas in Evansville that Shawn Delaney has done, because Shawn Delaney has done the history of Evansville wrestling.
He's an adequate historian.
Well, boy, Shawn's thinking, why the fuck did you have to call him on that right before he mentioned my name?
I want to watch some
Dave Dynasty gave me
ICW
$50
sometime on here.
Well, Shawn will beat that.
Oh, hey, Shawn, give me a call.
He'll come up with at least $52.50.
All right.
But Shawn, because Evansville, Indiana was its own territory with its own local promoter and own television in the late 50s.
And then if you don't know, like, typically one show today we watched was not from Evansville, but typically we watch like the broadcast of the Memphis show as it was recorded off TV in Evansville. So like all the local promos are for Evansville, you know what I mean?
50s, and then
so that's why I picked it for the
got
stream.
swept up into using the Barnett talent in Indiana, and then that happened, and at the same time the local promoter was out of business, and so Evansville had been dark, as they used to call it in those days, for most of the last half of the 60s. And we found out also the old Coliseum in Evansville was in, oh God, Shawn's going to kill me because it's in his book and I read it, but the city owned it, and they had turned it for some reason into another type of facility where they were doing some kind of things with schools or whatever, right? So the only place to have wrestling was Roberts Stadium, which was an indoor arena, even though it sounds like an outdoor arena, but it seats like 10 or 12,000. It was just very big, right? So Evansville, Indiana, no live wrestling. Louisville, Kentucky, no live wrestling. Lexington, Kentucky, no live wrestling. A strip of Interstate 64 going
BC
from
44 Mega Drive.
really southern Illinois all the way over through to into West Virginia. A lot of the towns were dark as a result of Bruiser taking over the Indiana portion of Barnett's territory, and this was too far down for the Sheik. So a bunch of towns got lost in the shuffle. Did that set the stage properly, Brian?
It has set the stage, yes. Now open the curtain.
Yes, and overture.
That was setting the stage? I thought that was like going to be the whole story.
Curtain lights. So, Evansville, the argument about was it still Bruiser and Snyder's town? Well, they ran Evansville for a few months in 1968. The Coliseum was unavailable, so they had to use Roberts Stadium. And Shawn thinks they peaked with a show that drew around 2,500 people, which may be one of the bigger crowds in Evansville history, but fell to about 500 before they pulled the plug, including dropping the TV in November and December. And 500 people would have been an average and kind of on the poor end crowd in the 70s for Jarrett, but in the Coliseum, which you could get 2,000 people.
Gobbledygook, I think we may have discussed this before, but I think I was too high and I can't remember, but I promise I'll remember this time. Did you or did you not one time clip when Gloria had left her Gangster Gloria had left her microphone on? Was that you that posted that clip that made Rich so mad?
In with Vaseline, right? And it was a lot cheaper to rent. What a historic building. You can smell the mildew a mile away. But then Shawn also says...
I'll check it out, Ganglabesh.
It was because Evansville came after Louisville.
Ganglabesh would be a great name for somebody in WWE Evolve right now. I feel like that's a great wrestling name, Ganglabesh.
Around the time Jarrett had Louisville up and running, he got the TV deal with WTVW Channel 7.
That was you? Oh, my God.
Which is the show, the station that would air Jarrett's show for most of the period of time he ran Evansville for all those years. And Shawn thinks that's what got Bruiser and Snyder's attention and why they made their trip. I'm pretty sure that Louisville doing 5,000 people in some of those early days, weekly shows probably got their attention before he opened up Evansville. But I think Evansville, well, here's another town. Right? This all used to be, it was probably an exacerbating factor. But
I feel like I'm in that that Rick and Morty episode where all those characters keep appearing and like filling up the house. I'm like, Universal Jones? Who the hell is Universal Jones? I'm like, oh yeah, Universal Jones. He's doing a thesis on the whatever. It's like, who are all these characters?
With Shawn's research, we always wondered, because even though Bruiser was getting a piece of Louisville for a number of years, a limited amount of his talent came and worked here, right? It was more Evansville that was using Bruiser and Snyder talent from Indianapolis than it was Louisville. Because remember I said Jarrett ran Roberts Stadium at first, because that was before that they had returned the Coliseum back to its original function and changed the city arrangements. And that was way too big a building for everybody. But there was a lot of Indianapolis talent filling out the early cards in Evansville. But only the bigger names like Bruiser and Snyder and, some of the other top guys would get booked in Louisville. And part of that was because on Tuesday nights at that point in time, the Goulas Welch territory, they probably had two other towns, but they weren't against a major town.
I don't think Cornette uses anyone's actual real name when he talks about him in AEW. Like, everybody has some weird... One of my favorites was Felix and Outhouse. He would talk about Ray Phoenix and Penta. He'd be like Felix and Outhouse.
But Wednesday nights, by that point, had become the weekly night in Nashville. And then whatever else they were doing on Wednesdays, they needed...
December to Dismember, probably, because Heroes of Wrestling, we actually watched the complete show on here one time. I think it's still up on like a random wrestling stream, but there's at least like a historical value to Heroes of Wrestling.
More guys in Evansville that could drive 100 miles from Indianapolis and make the show and get paid $50, because Evansville, it didn't ever take off like a Louisville or a Lexington. It was always the Wednesday night town.
That's us. We're the Wednesday night town.
But
on Thursday mornings.
There was some... I remember on one of the Louisville cards, and I wish I'd been going to live wrestling at that point, but it was like 1972 or whatever. One of the preliminary matches was Jackie Fargo versus Bobby Heenan. Can you imagine how much fun Bobby would have had? Bobby was smart to the business. Fargo, it would have... It was a match to put Fargo on the card because people loved him.
I feel like I give it a chance, and then there's just like... I don't know, something happens. I've been enjoying Evolve, but I've been trying to treat it like because it's kind of a studio show, because they're always in the same place, and they have like a little they have like a VIP section to start drama in. There's like, you know what I mean? It's like it has a good like continuity loop. So I'm trying to like get in that like, put myself in the mindset of like being open to that like kind of goofy stuff. But it's I think Evolve has been pretty entertaining.
And he was going to beat Bobby in 12 entertaining minutes, right? But because Fargo was so over, Bobby would have had a ball. doing very little, if anything, and having, people going crazy.
Arguing with people.
But anyway, so that
if you know they know they're wrong, distinction is foolishness.
At first, Jarrett really needed help with Evansville because it wasn't ever going to take off like Louisville was, really, and the building wasn't that big and blah blah blah. But that was a Wednesday night town to justify the spot shows that he could also run in northern Kentucky, like Owensboro, which is Is it 40 miles from Evansville? I used to make the trip, but it's not very far. It's in Kentucky, Evansville, right across the state line in Indiana. And that's where, again, the local wrestling war that I mentioned is just kind of interesting. And then I'll open the floor for your questions or organ playing or flute playing, whatever you want to do. But Shawn thinks that part of Nick and Roy not pressing the issue over Evansville and Louisville with Bruiser, like, we're not going to give you a piece of that. Our
Remember
boy,
that video Jimmy made where he said, enjoy the
open
bombs,
those
Tel Aviv,
towns, is
and then
because
he was, like,
Jarrett was already getting,
song.
He was younger and he was way smarter, way more energetic at that point than Nick Goulas. And at that point, Roy still had a lot of confidence and faith in Jerry, but as Roy's dementia progressed, by 1973, they were suspecting, did he send Mario Galento in to fucking ambush?
Okay, distinction. In a clear way, type in chat what it is you think Get Crack should admit so that we can move forward.
Jerry on Memphis television, right? So these things were going on. So Phil Golden had been running Owensboro at the Sports Center down there.
How far is that from Evansville?
Like I said, about 40 miles away. But Phil Golden had tried to run Evansville right before, and Nick, using their guy in Bowling Green, started running the Sports Center in Owensboro on Monday nights off of the Evansville TV when Jerry was in Memphis and didn't really have any say about it. So Nick was already starting to encroach on Jarrett's TV 40 miles south of the market before he could even start running that town. And Phil Golden had already started trying to run Evansville with no television because Phil Golden was the promoter at that time in Paducah, Kentucky, all the way at the
big deal. So distinction is a bad lay. Who cares?
Western end of the state, right near
just claim it, distinction,
Southern Illinois,
and move on,
that part of
we don't
Southern
even know
Indiana.
that distinction was trying. He
so
might
this
have just
is what
been
I was
trying
going to tell Shawn.
Catch a nut.
Because he finishes up. He said it appears when Jerry cut off the deal with Bruiser and Snyder, they aligned with Phil Golden and sent guys to work the All-Star Wrestling events in Louisville. That's not true because he didn't cut the deal off until after Phil Golden had already gone out of business. What happened was, as I mentioned him before, that's when Angelo Poffo went in with Phil Golden and wanted to open up this entire strip of dark towns. With Golden and Paducah and already having a television show there, All-Star Wrestling with Buzz Benson, and Angelo Poffo being from Illinois and always having wanted to run Southern Illinois, Southern Indiana, Louisville, and into West Virginia, that's the first time they tried it. Angelo was the top guy.
So in other words, Ava put the thighs on him. He jizzed. I mean, can we fault him?
He had worked for Bruiser for years and years, but wasn't at that time. I think he might have left there to do this. And he brought Paul Christie, who would be on a lot of the early Evansville events when Jarrett was running
We're talking about
but Christie was a
romantic connection
until the
Ava.
late 70s when the competition went down
and the quality.
Christie had steady runs with Bruiser in Indiana, but had never been. He was a tag team champion with Moose Cholak. He was a mid-card babyface at the top heels that were going to fight Bruiser had to beat. But I think Angelo Poffo pitched him, come be a part of this thing with me, and you can be the world champion. And you can work with me as the miser or whatever.
Oh, did you guys see? Grace said that during those commercial breaks, until they have like real sponsors, she'll put up a Fusion Studios advertisement.
Then he was Angelo Poffo. And Christie was probably making as much money from them running 5 towns a week that didn't,
Ruby is being
particularly draw that good or that bad, and him being in the main event, and him working 2 or 3 times for Bruiser in the 3rd match. But anyway, that's that.
And of course, Paul Christie made one legendary and weird appearance on TNT in the 80s as the wrestling magician, and then he was never seen again.
Well, and the thing is, when they finally had to use him as a main event heel instead of a mid-card babyface golden boy Paul Christie.
I'm going to save the Thorpes from irrelevance.
The talent level went down, I think it was like 78 or 9.
Now that the Thorpes have gone through everybody else, they're at the absolute 9th circle of Boyd. I'm sure that's gonna save the business.
9 or whatever. He was fucking great. He cut these promos where you thought he was a fucking psychopath, but not like screaming over the top or whatever, but just I remember one of them when he had first switched heel, he starts cutting the promo with his old golden boy sunglasses on, and then he makes some kind of point, but he takes the glasses off, and he could pop his eyes out wider if he tried than almost any human being I've ever seen. And he takes the sunglasses off and his eyes look like ping pong balls while he's talking as calmly as possible.
I don't know how to do that, Foreman.
He was entertaining and he could work and he had a good body, but he wasn't going to, wasn't going to be the main event, especially at a dying territory and draw money at that point in time. He was already almost 50. He just looked so much younger. But nevertheless, they tried it with Angelo Poffo. Had bought into the thing with Phil Golden, and then I think he just took it over at the end. Golden abandoned the baby. And then that's first place that he went to, and all the towns they tried to open up again.
Ruby, any thoughts on Grace revealing that she's no longer grooming her body hair?
When he had a promotion with Lanny and Randy, when they joined with the guys from Knoxville, and it was, and think about that, Phil Golden's promotion was All-Star Wrestling from Paducah, and the guys in Knoxville had broken off and started All-Star Wrestling that Angelo joined with, International All-Star Wrestling, and then ICW.
Grace is embracing an ancestral
and they're all fighting
Viking
over places like
lifestyle.
Evansville, Indiana, and Owensboro, Kentucky, even in their own companies and own families. I find it fascinating. Do you find it fascinating, Brian? Just fascinating?
It's always interesting, kind of the history of outlaw wrestling in that part of the country, specifically from like the late 60s up until WWF, which is the rise and fall of the Poffos, I guess, in a lot of ways. The rise and fall and rise.
Yeah.
Of the Poffos.
But that's the thing, is that in those days, if you were smart to the wrestling business and had some knowledge of how to put shows together and put a structure of some...
I feel like that moment is burned in my mind of the armpit hair. I feel like it was like kind of like right before OPC Dawn went down. She was like, I take no responsibility. She was like, here's some talent for you. Set my beard on fire.
A network of towns together to keep some halfway decent wrestlers employed. You didn't need $1 million. You could get TV and run it for 10 or 12 weeks and start running live events, and halftime you could make some fucking money.
And how hard was it in some of those small towns? Well, I guess not the towns, but in some of those smaller cities to get TV back then.
Well, that's the thing. And, it was a blessing and a curse, because in Evansville, Indiana in 1970, they had I'm going to say 3 television stations, and I might have to check to see if that third one had come on the air, but I believe it was 3. And so there's only 3 stations and however many hours in the day. However, at the same time, that's...
Yeah, Ben was on a, like, somebody in chat must have said, like, Grace is the real star or something, and, like, Ben was, like, making a big deal about it and was like, oh, look, Grace, here's people who are still convinced that you're the star of the show and that you're so talented. And she's like, yeah, here's some talent for you. And then she showed her hairy armpit.
That's when they were still dependent on people watching for the commercials and etc. and their advertising income. There were no infomercials. So if they knew that a program would get an audience and you could sell them on that, then yes, they would fucking go with it. And there was a local history, and I believe it was with WTVW.
Yes, distinction.
Of the local promotion years earlier.
Well,
have being successful, whatever. They found a sympathetic program director, blah, blah, blah. So once you've got that, it was hard for wrestling to get kicked off because it always found an audience.
I inquired about it, and Grace...
And it was only...
pointed me to,
I mean, at various points in the 60s,
that I could clip.
The Chicago TV, wrestling from Chicago,
I think it's still
had been on in Evansville. Or, you know, at one point, the Indianapolis TV, I believe they used that. But it didn't last. They weren't
Unfortunately, my copy has 2
having
Menards
success enough in the market to, at the live events, to justify running a lot of them. And if there's no live events, people kind of slacked off of the TV. It fed on itself. So if you could say, look,
I recorded the entire
manager,
episode of Kings.
You know, people like wrestling. They're going to watch it. Look at the ratings we're doing. 100 miles down the road in Louisville, and we're doing 5,000 people at the Louisville Garden. Blah blah blah. Put us on. Give us a chance. We're going to run every week at the Evansville Coliseum. We'll be a presence here. The world will be safe for democracy.
Did someone make who made a death
Channel
threat?
7? I'm pretty sure for years uninterrupted. Certainly, they were still there in 1980.
Reports, Foreman.
2 and 3 when I left the territory. So
what about in 1991? Did you work Evansville with the Fabulous Ones?
No. Because there was no way that Jarrett was going to give us our guarantee to go to Evansville. And that was the thing is we might as well have moved to the territory than if we had, because we had to fly in Friday night to be in Memphis TV Saturday morning. And then we'd do Nashville on Saturday night and then off on Sunday, but we'd stay because of Memphis on Monday and Louisville on Tuesday. And then Stan and I would go back to Charlotte on Wednesday.
Ben did? I don't remember that.
So, you know.
I don't think, okay,
so
that's not a credible.
there.
Ben is not in a position to lead a crusade.
As a matter of fact, you know what? Come to think of it.
That's not credible.
It was sometime in the, I'm going to say 89, 90, 91-ish time frame, I'm thinking.
It should be on his YouTube,
that they may have quit running Evansville because it just got, and they were trying to concentrate more on Owensboro. Maybe I'm off on my time frame.
When you were working there in the early 80s specifically, do you remember ever hearing that kind of conversation? Why are we running Evansville? We should stop running Evansville, or was it not at that point?
Well, no, because I mean, I'm going to say that there was a time or two when it fucking snowed or whatever that you could hear a mouse pissed on.
Ben Thorpe is inarguably not in a position to lead a crusade, especially a global crusade. Come on. That's not credible.
Cotton and ringside. But when I say it was a shitty town,
Report.
It was still selling.
Or Menard Reports.
In the worst time period for business when I was going there between 1979 and 1983, they were still selling 2,000, 20, maybe 2,500 tickets a month.
Damn, Stephen.
In that same fucking town in a building that I'm pretty sure they were getting for $400.
Great episode, man.
Maybe.
Good shit.
You know,
they got to get Menard back.
The main event guys got a little bit more money, and everybody else got another $50 on their fucking check for a Wednesday night when nobody's doing anything else. And that's 1980 money is that 4 times. That's like everybody on the card's getting $200 to have a half-ass match on a Wednesday night.
Don't know if he could
and I
afford
always
it.
say half-assed because there was a lot of good matches in Evansville.
I'm just saying if he had,
everybody didn't just tank
150
it, but it wasn't
million
like
followers
goddamn
and a million people
Mid-South
watching every
Coliseum.
stream, then maybe you could say
But
like
that's
he
the
could
thing is that was
get something
they had
together,
TV
but I
there
don't
that they
think,
could
like,
also run
Damius
Owensboro. They could also
Octavius
run
and King
Huntingburg,
TL are
Indiana,
really,
off that TV that drew 2,000 people at a high school gym. They were running 2 towns
to an entire
every
religion
week off that Evansville TV, and that was a small one in the overall scheme of things. So the TV is responsible for on Wednesday and Thursday nights
the Blubber Lips Crusade.
them
Yeah,
selling
we
when
need one
Evansville
more.
was hot, and something like Lawler came back from his broken leg. They did $12,000 at $5 and $6 tickets. There were people standing in the fucking parking lot and in the fucking bathroom trying to
Are we gonna have
peek
to?
around
We'll have to
the
crowd
door.
fund the $10
But
for
normally,
45 minutes.
They do 500 or 700 people, but it
Remember when Ben was
gave
like,
all the guys
you
an
could
extra
do,
payday,
you
and
could
it
do
was only
45 minutes for $10,
2 hours from
or we could
Nashville or
do,
whatever.
Let's see, 2 and then
So
another
that's
half.
basically
And what
everybody
would
knew
that
that's
be?
why you
About
run fucking
$25.
Evansville.
Or
You
we
can't
could
get
do
in a
just
lot of
the,
fucking small
or we
towns
could
for
just do the
spot
$10.
shows on Wednesday nights in those days because many people went to church in that part of the country on Wednesday nights.
You're down
So
for
at
the
least we
crusade.
could get the heathens to come to the Coliseum.
A guy
And
laying
again,
down.
Christine Jarrett is selling her own tickets, and her driver, Donna or Sammy Malone or whatever, they're the 2 people selling the tickets. The ticket takers are volunteers that are, there because they love the fucking wrestling business. And, you're renting a building that seats however many
I heard
people
about
you
that,
need
Ganglebash.
for a few $100s. And so it's not like there was a great expense to the fucking thing.
He said he wants to. He said he wants to. That's different than saying he's going to. That's all I'm saying. We need Menard back. We need one more time, Menard. You had been on the ropes. He took a powder. Don't let it, you won by count out, but don't, you got to come back. We need one more. I was talking about that earlier, Joe Shabatoni, when he was talking about how many viewers were on Lil Cow Rejects that first show. And he was like, all right, Grace, we're at 200, well on our way to 500, then on to 1,000. Although they did get pretty close to that for a little while. One last ride. Menard, one last camel ride, buddy. YouTube's going to take one look at Ben Thorpe yelling like a lunatic, and they're going to be like, no, this guy is not a credible threat to lead a crusade against an entire religious, faction. Come on. We need Menard back one last time. I was a Menard doubter, but I'm coming to terms with it. I also like that at the beginning of his stream, which I don't think you see it on Ben and Grace's stream, but he says that he did not feel flattered by the AI thumbnail of him wearing the turban and shit. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you, Bob Brown. Oh, Nikki New. Wow. Nikki New and Espresso Joe. Nice. Thank you, Bob Brown. I appreciate that greatly. Nikki New poll. Anyway. All right, I'm going to go. I got to go, though. Boyd Watch tomorrow. I got to remember, what's the takeaways thing again? What's the name of the takeaway channel? Shoot, I can't remember now. It's something takeaway. You still missed Vinnie. Okay, I gotta go. But if you think of what the name of that takeaway show is, either put it in the chat or put it in a comment, and I'll make sure I fit it in tomorrow. But anyway, I gotta go. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. And next Friday we'll start 1988 in Memphis. D-Dog and Nikki News stream. I'd watch that. Rate my takeaway. There we go. Thank you, Bob Brown.